Hello, City are taking on City in the city as the defending Premier League champions are headed to the King Power Stadium. Which team is going to boost their form? We're going to find out together. It is Manchester City versus Leicester City. It is a watch along. Won't you join us?
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon or good morning from here in Canada as we are lining up for Leicester City versus Manchester City. It is match day 4 in the Premier League. We're going to be joined by Jono in a quick moment, but let's get some views and let's get some comments, and it's great to be joined by all of you. Jono, how are you doing?
Not but me, how are you?
I am not bad at all. So just off the bat, how are you feeling coming into this game? I'm a little on the uncertain side, but this is probably going to be the toughest game we're going to have this season at home.
Yeah, I said in Reedy's show yesterday that I'm not confident. I'm not confident in the way that we've been playing the season so far. I'm not confident in our form, but I was looking at the team sheet. I'm happy with it. It's a very confident team. Amati is out, but I like our team. I think it's got a lot of experience. Madison's in, which I'm surprised at, but I think it'll be a good game. But yeah, very difficult. I can't see us getting a win, but I want us to show a good. I want to get a good performance in. I'm happy.
Yes, I completely agree. I'll always say that even if my head thinks we're going to lose, my heart's always going to say at the very least we'll get a draw, but it's going to be an uphill climb during this match. Both teams are coming in off of fairly different forms. I think that's a good place for us to sort of kick off discussions, is the fact that Leicester City have been a little bit shaky lately, like we were saying. However, our defense is going to be rocking up a little bit more. But Man City coming off of back-to-back 5-0 wins, albeit those were against 19th and 20th in the league.
Yes. But I think, man, the way we played Norwich and we struggled. We were very lucky to get the win. Man City didn't struggle at all. But we've got new players coming in, new players coming out of injury. We've only got 2 players now who are out for a normal period of time, which is obviously Fofana and Justin. So we've got players pretty much back from injury now. So it's a chance for Brendan to start implementing his tactics. It's the same as last season. So I think he'll be more ready now to, prepare himself for the league coming up. So we've had a big break. Vardy didn't play internationally. So I think it'd be good for him. He's had a good rest. I'm ready for this game.
Do you think we're going to be able to see him pull off some more of his trademark pace that we hadn't seen towards the end of last season, but I think these first 3 games have been pretty positive for that?
Yeah, apart from against Norwich, I think Vardy's been one of our best players in pre-season and the first few games. I think he's been quality. I think, Man City that he always scores against City. It's like Kane against Leicester, where Vardy always scores against City. And if he brings that form today, then I think Brendan knows. I think it's a good game for Brendan because I think he'll just implement the same tactics we did in the Community Shield. So I think that'll be a good way to approach this game. But I think Vardy be class. I think he needs to be at his best for us to win this game.
Yeah, I'm just working on getting the lineup graphic made up. We'll hopefully have that up and ready maybe around 2:30. But yeah, I would like to quickly discuss with you in the defense, we are seeing a lot of those injured players that you were mentioning coming back. How are you feeling around that? Oh, and we're joined by Phil as well. Phil, you're down by the King Power, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I think he's preparing.
Yeah, he might be solving his internet issues. But I will also quickly say a couple thoughts that we're seeing here. Good to see Vestergaard and Bertrand back in. So yeah, we are still seeing Soyuncu in the in central defense. I think some of those experienced heads might be able to play that sort of Evans role and sort of helping keep Soyuncu on the straight and narrow in this match.
With a experienced player, Soyuncu is one of the best. I think one of the top 10 centre backs in the league. I think he's phenomenal when he's got a experienced head next to him. With Bertrand next to him, I did call this lineup, this defence, yesterday in reader stream, apart from Vestergaard for Evans. But Castagne's on the right, Bertrand on the left, Vestergaard and Soyuncu in the centre. I think that's a brilliant defence. You know, two very fast attacking winger. Two left backs and right backs. Soyuncu and Vestergaard very strong. Vestergaard's very tall, so that'll be good against crosses and corners. So yeah, I love. Brighton starts is a bit funny because every Brighton starts, he doesn't make an impact. But always when he comes on as a sub, he's always makes an impact. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely one of the biggest advocates of Albrighton being like that sort of super sub. He's one of those players that's too good for the bench, but he's best when he comes off of it in that way. But honestly, I feel like Brendan's hands might have been a little bit more tied in this case because I feel like he's the more natural replacement for Perez, who is still suspended at the moment. Sorry?
A new signing, Lookman.
You know what? That is fair. I hadn't given too much consideration to Lookman. I think that also just comes down to the fact that with a lot of new signings, especially loans, you often don't see them start in their first game in the kit. They're usually going to be that player that comes on. It wouldn't surprise me if Albrighton might just be on for the first half and then come off maybe around 55, 60 minutes.
I think it depends how the game's going. I think Albrighton is a good player to come on to level head the game, to bring on, you know, the sort of player who knows what he's doing, sort of settle the game down. You know, if the game's going really well, I can see him playing the whole game. If the game's not going to plan, if the game's not, you know, if it needs a change, then I can definitely see Lookman coming on. But no, I think Albrighton's a good starting. So yeah, I think it's a good start. Maybe I would have liked to see Kieran instead of Maddison. I think Maddison's, for me, he's not been at his best. Maybe he's still injured. Maybe his head's on a transfer. I don't know, but I would have loved to see Kieran because you know he's a home favourite. He's a Leicester boy. I think he'd be quality. But I do love the lineup. I think it's a very positive, very strong lineup. Yeah, I love it.
I'm going to quickly pull up one of Nick Moore's comments here. So you have commented a little bit on Matters needing to perform today and your shock around his being in the lineup. But I think one of the bigger changes that's really caught my eye in this lineup is the fact that we're going two up front, which is something that I feel a lot of fans have called for in a lot of games, and yet we have been continuing to leave Vardy alone and hoping that we can just get some wing players that come up from the midfield. How do you feel about having two up front? Do you think that might be a better complement to both Vardy and Maddison?
We've got two up front. Is Maddison a strike? Is Maddison a forward? I think. Is he?
Yeah. So the graphic that I have, again, like I'm just working on getting the full graphic together, but I have a 4-4-2 that I'm seeing with both Maddison and Vardy playing up front.
Okay. If it is that, then I'm happy. But I think it's a team that could be adapted. I think it could be a team that we've got. You know, we've always business transfer window. We've got a really good bench. We've got a good bench that we can switch players. We can change formations. If we need to play more defensive, we can bring more defenders on. If we need to play more attacking, we can bring Sumari on or Lookman. Players like that. So I think he's got a brilliant lineup where if the game goes bad or good, we have a team where we can diverse the formation and the team. So I think all around, I think good.
I think one of the ways that I'm also cautiously optimistic about this match is the fact that we have a lot of depth on the bench, which is something that we just didn't have last season at all. But the fact that looking at the bench, we have Evans, we have Nacho, we have Ricardo, Dewsbury Hall, Daka, and then, of course, Sumari as well. So really across every position, we have a good, solid starting rotation player who can be brought in if we find that our backs are against the wall in the first half.
Definitely. And after the Euros, what also gave me much confidence is Danny Ward. He showed that he's also a very good quality keeper. If Schmeichel gets injured now, I'm very confident that he can, do the business. So you know, last season I'll have to bring on like Mendy, or we have to bring on Marte or Charlie, stuff like that. So I think this season we've got a lot more players who could definitely have an impact, not just come on to fill the place, but actually have an impact role in the team. So I think this season, with the bench being so strong, and even if we have injuries, which we do, we still have quite a very good, strong team.
I know some of the discussion that we've been having, at least among ourselves from the Leicester Fan TV team, is how successful our window has been. And I know there's been a little bit of discussion from people who have been saying that our window's been rather weak. As I would say that perhaps it has been compared to other teams, but I think one of the things that goes overlooked is the fact that we've solved a lot of the problems that we've had from last year. So I know that the window's been closed for a little while now, but what were sort of your post-window feelings? Like, do you think we had a successful window?
Yeah, I think we had a great transfer window. Yes, we've developed in terms of our status in the league position in the last few seasons, and we've got Europa League football twice in a row now. We've been Champions League when we won the season after we won the Premier League. People forgetting we're not. Yes, we have a lot of money, but we don't have the funds to get all these massive players in, like Manchester United got. Ronaldo. They got, who's the centre back?
Rafael Varane.
Yeah, they got him. They've got Sancho. They can afford to bring these sort of players in. But Fofana, he was unknown. He was phenomenal last season. Daka, he's shown how good he can be. Soumare is a brilliant signing. They just won the French league, and he's left that team to come to us. So we've got some gems. Bertrand's a very good, very experienced player. Lookman on loan's a good shout because we need a winger. So yeah, I think we had a great transfer window. Obviously, all Brighton and Barnes signing new deals, which is brilliant for us as well. So overall, I give us a solid 8 out of 10 for transfer window.
I completely agree with that 8 out of 10 assessment. I'm going to pull up Nick Moore's comment here. So you also talked about the budget. I think a lot of the things that a lot of fans overlook is when they talk about teams that had great transfer. People love to say that PSG had the best window of all because of how many players they signed on freeze. I think what a lot of people forget about is free transfers often have the highest salaries out of anybody on the team. So when it comes to budgeting that out, I think we still had a very successful window given the quality of players that we were able to bring in on both transfers and freeze. I also don't see us breaking the bank at all. And I could see us still being very stable to pull in some great players in the next window as well, such as, for example, I know some people have been linking Berardi with us, and he would be an amazing player to bring in.
Well, I think the reason why we didn't get him was because Brendan knew we didn't have the funds, so he said, right, we need to fill in positions we absolutely need. We needed a centre back, we needed a new midfielder, we needed a new winger. Those players will be solidified, and we can't really afford to spend 50 million on a winner. We'll get someone in for loan for now, but if we bring in Berardi, that will just show our intentions to maintain this top 6 Europa League, Champions League journey. So I think if we do get him in the January transfer, that'll be phenomenal. It'll be over the moon.
Agreed. Just before we jump on to the next topic, I'm going to put the link into the chat. So we do still have about 45 minutes before kickoff. We would love to have you come on the stream and discuss a little bit of some of the pre-match topics that we've got going on. So please feel free to click that link, come on video, come talk to us. Hopefully, if Phil can get some connection out near the King Power as well, we'll hopefully be getting some pre-match views down by the stadium as well. Of course, one of the other things that is still developing at the moment is whether or not Man City's Brazilian players are going to be on the pitch. So a lot of the analysis that I've seen is that the latest we've heard is that they are allowed. However, Man City are still bringing a very large squad to Leicester just in case. So I think it is still a little up in the air as to whether or not they're starting. The lineup that I'm seeing does have both of them in the lineup. But at the end of the day, I think if we were to be able to beat Man City, we have to be able to beat them whether they have those players in the lineup or not.
I think we got a bit overexcited. The fact that they may have their third goalkeeper. They would have all their Brazilian superstars like Gabriel Jesus and stuff, players like that. It's still Man City's second team could be in the top 6. Like, you know what I mean? They've got a bench so strong that even if they've got players out for injury or international duty or COVID issues, they will always have a team that's going to challenge everything. So I have no doubt about it. Even with the FA bringing the players back or forcing them to stay out because of the COVID, it's going to be one of the toughest games of the season.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I think it was a bit of sensational news around the fact that those players might not play. But, Adam Tucker put it that Man City can play most games without a keeper to begin with. Like you said, they are just such a talented and deep squad that a lot of the times missing 2 players like that wouldn't be too much of a hindrance to them. We can look back at something like the Charity Shield, which of course we ended up winning 1-0, but even then it took us a penalty, and a lot of the players that you're going to see in the starting lineup for Man City weren't in there in the Community Shield. They still put up a very tough fight for 90 minutes.
Yeah, I think everyone's saying, Vardy would have had a field day because, to challenge their keeper, but you still got to get past the midfield, then their defence. So to get to the keeper, we've still got to be. If we play like we have done the last few 3 games, we will lose. I'm saying right now, we will. If we play anywhere like we've been playing so far, we're going to get destroyed because Man City will take the mistakes we've made. Will get punished. If we have a good game, if we play like we do, we know where Leicester can play. We can I say we could win this game, but from what our form has been, no matter who, if Ederson or Jesus are out, I think we will still lose if we play like we have done.
Completely agreed. And of course, I think one of the things we were touching on a little bit before that as well was the fact that even outside the fact that Leicester have been shaky in a lot of their recent games, I think it's also the fact that Man City have just been on fire their last 2 games.
Yeah, I think they've been one of my favourite teams to watch in the Premier League. Their football is just exquisite. They pass the ball around like it's nothing. They don't let the other team touch the ball. Someone said in the stream yesterday, they need a striker, but every player on their team can score. They can score from corners, they can score from set pieces, they can score from, Kevin De Bruyne himself can score screamers. So, I think it'll be a really hard challenge. But one thing that I would say is one positive is that a good team always can always scrape out a victory or a result.
Hey there, Phil.
Hi guys, you all right?
Right, Phil?
Yeah, we're good.
Good.
You want to get in some pre-match views at the King Power?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, we're all really struggling to get connection down here, so it's took a while. I'm down here with Jack. There's Jack.
Right, Jack.
That's Reedy.
Hello, you.
Oh. They've gone again.
You're a little choppy, but I hope you're able to hear us well. So yeah, let us know some of your pre-match views, how you're feeling coming into this game.
I think they've gone again. I think.
So unfortunately, I think we're losing you. I'm gonna have to put you off screen for a little bit, but hopefully you'll be able to find some better connection around there. But yeah, the King Power is notorious for having horrible reception.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Jack coming in. Hopefully Jack has got a better connection. Hey, Jack.
Give me a second, boys.
All right.
No
Still
worries.
get my headphones popped in. Yeah, good, you?
We're good. We're good. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I think the video's a bit laggy, but we can hear you fine.
Yeah.
Is it? signal problems, you know. Yeah. So then, boys, team news. What we expecting today then? Considering we've seen the team today, Albrighton starting, Ricardo on the bench. What's your thoughts?
I think it's a great team. I think I think it's good that Surinchu's got a experienced head next to him with Vestergaard. Or Brighton started for me shows that he wants Brendan wants experience in all positions. So pretty happy with the team.
Yeah.
I agree that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Johnny Evans on the bench then. Vestergaard obviously starting today. What are we expecting? A fully fit defence. Obviously, James Justin out. Wesley Fofana. It's good to have the defensive options, isn't it, Jono, in this game?
I think it's great to have defensive options. You know, as I said before, we've got the opportunity to change the team and change defense depending on the scoreline or the current situation. So I think we can take defenders off or bring them on depending on what's happening. So I think it's a great defense.
Yeah, I think I'm going to quickly jump in here on the defense as well. That even in the absence of Johnny Evans, I think we are seeing
Elijah, Jamie Vardy today then.
Yes, Jamie Vardy up front.
What do you think from him? Obviously, he's got a good record against the so-called top six. What are we expecting from Bards today?
Well, you know, we're always going to say how much I feel like you could take any team and say Jamie Vardy loves a goal against them. Obviously, I think one of the things that I'm happiest with here is from what I've seen that we are going to be going with a 4-4-2 up front, which I'm not 100% sure of, but I am a big proponent of going 2 up front if possible, because I think that really feeds in well to Vardy's pace, which can pull defenses apart, which then gives space for the other player who is up front. So perhaps even if we don't go with that 4-4-2, we might still be able to get some wing play that can go up and take advantage of the space that Vardy makes when he makes those runs.
I'll just jump on that. I think Vardy's much more than just a player who just runs at people and just tries and just uses pace to purely get past defenders. He's very, very clever. He knows where to pass. He knows, how can he assist, how he just runs players out of position. He also gets in their heads. He knows how to frustrate players. I think it's just a nightmare. And one good thing is that, if Vardy's getting tired, we bring on Daka, who also has just sheer pace and pure strength. So I think even though Man City have got a strong defence, I still think they're going to have their work cut out for them. But let's see.
You've actually got some perfect timing with how you close that off there. I'm just uploading the Manchester City lineup that I think we can discuss a little bit there. So I'm just going to run through the whole team here because we haven't discussed it too much. But they're going with a 4-3-3. Ederson starts in goal, and then a back four of João Cancelo, Aymeric Laporte, Diaz, and Walker. Ilkay Gundogan, Rodri, and Silva start in midfield. And then they're going with a front three of Jack Grealish, Ferran Torres, and Gabriel Jesus. So a couple of the surprises for me in there are the fact that we're seeing De Bruyne on the bench as well as Sterling. But that is still a very, very solid lineup.
Well, as I said before, that bench with some of the other teams that aren't players aren't even in the game are still, phenomenal. Grealish, I think I'm happy with the fact that we've got a level-headed an experienced defender, because Grealish is so easy to foul, and I think Martin and Sunchu together won't have the experience or the quality to not foul Grealish, if you know what I mean. So that team is just unreal. If we win today, I'll be very, very happy and very surprised. But even if we start winning, they can bring on De Bruyne, Sterling, Mahrez, Foden. Zinchenko. They've just got an unreal team, but I can't believe which way a team like that.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in. That there's a lot of great players both in the starting form and on the lineup, and on the bench as well. One of the things, we do have someone joining us. Brian, can you give me a quick thumbs up to let me know if you're ready to come on stream? All right, we'll add you in. Brian, can you hear us? Hello, Brian, can you hear us? Unfortunately, I'm not sure that you got connection where you can hear us, unfortunately. One of the other things that I was reading about a little bit, I know Reedy touched on it a little bit on his show as well, is that we've got some unfortunate stats and some insights on the long-standing traditions around this fixture that are not lining up well for Leicester City. One of which being the fact that this is our second home match of the season, and Leicester haven't won their opening 2 home games since 1966-67. None of the last 11 times these two teams have played has it finished in a win. And as well, of all Premier League fixtures, Leicester City versus Man City is the one where the away team has won the most. Do you think any of that could be playing on the players' heads, or do you think that they're good to see past superstition?
Did they play on the heads that we didn't win the FA Cup before when we won the final? No. Well, it didn't look like it. We're record beaters. Why do you think we'll get the 11th goal against Manchester United? No. I think Leicester will be up for this. I don't think they care about history or records. They want to show Manchester City that we're also a strong team. We're here to fight.
I think also a nice piece of history that might go unsaid from time to time is the fact that we did beat this team 5-2.
Yeah. 2 seasons
and of
ago.
course, records are there to be broken.
Yeah.
Going to take another quick moment to put the link out there for any of you who might have just joined us recently. Here is the link to join us. That middle screen that you were seeing there briefly was Phil. He is trying to join us from the King Power. So if you do get the chance, please feel free to click on that link and come join us. As well, of course, if you do get the opportunity, if you are watching and you are enjoying, and if you do stick around with us to the through the watch along as well, please make sure to drop us a like or a share or a subscribe, as not only does that help us as a channel, but it also helps other Leicester City fans see us, as it will boost us in the algorithm, gives more people the chance to follow along with us as the match kicks off.
I want to move away from this game just 1 second and just move along to the other game in the Premier League that's finished. In 15 minutes, Crystal Palace scored 3 goals and they won 3-0 against Spurs. Spurs, didn't concede all season. They've won 3 games, scored 3, conceded nothing, and they failed. They bottled under the pressure. Do you think Man City will be in the same situation, saying like, all the stats against Leicester, do you think they'll bottle it under the pressure? Like they're saying, they're the favourites, they need to win?
I think one of the things that comes in a lot into play in the Premier League is whether or not a team underestimates their opponents.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be one of the big things that we're going to see from Manchester City very early on, is whether or not they've underestimated Leicester. Because if they have, that's where they're going to be ripe for the picking, and we can just come in and take an early goal, maybe even 2, and if we can take something into halftime, it'll be good for us to move on from there. Jack, I see you're joining us. Hopefully, you've been able to find some connection. Jack, can you hear us at all?
Where the blue bar is great. So,
hey Tom, we've got you as well. How are you doing?
Who's joining us now?
How are we doing, lads?
Not too bad. Jack, I think your connection's unfortunately a little bit spotty. Still at the King Power.
I think they need a portable van with a router just so they can do this. But go on, Jack.
Jack, any chance you got connection? If not, no, unfortunately. Yeah, I think put that comment in. You got more of a chance of Little Wes playing today than you have of Phil getting a signal at the King Power. You know, of course, I haven't been, but it does seem to be quite difficult to get any semblance of connection out there. Jack is trying to jump in again, so we might see him pop up on screen. Carmen, good to see you tuning in again. Always a pleasure. Jack, I see you tuning back in. Hopefully, you'll be able to get a little bit of a connection there. Maybe something from the Blues Bar. But while Jack does try to connect, yes, I do want to jump back to a 3-0 win. I think one of the other things that we saw from that as well was all of this sort of started. I mean, Palace were very strong throughout the game, but Tottenham went down to 10 men in the 60th minute. And I think that shows just how much of a danger it can be when you have a player who draws fouls really well. And we saw that Crystal Palace have that in Wilfried Zaha. He's one of those pacey, tricky players who's very easy to knock over. City now have that in Jack Grealish. Grealish was a star for doing those sorts of things when he was at Villa. Do you have worries that we might see ourselves go down to 10 men, especially considering some of the discussions that have gone on about Soyuncu being a bit of a red card liability, paired up against someone like Grealish in a front three? Do you think those older heads are going to be able to sort of keep him on the straight and narrow this match against a player like Grealish?
Yeah, I think so. I think there would have had I think there would have been a whole meeting or session on not fouling Grealish in the penalty box. I think he's such a. If you nudge him, at least now the rules have changed a bit in VAR, so I think there's a bit of leniency. But he can't go in all guns blazing, because if he does, if we go down to 10 men, we'll capitulate and we'll lose. But I think it'll be a struggle. It'll draw fouls, definitely, but it's not getting them in the key areas. That's the main thing.
Lillian Rama's been commenting a few times about how well Odsonne Edouard has done since signing at Palace. Of course, I believe so. He scored 2 of those 3 goals and did so shortly after he came on.
Yeah, 8 minutes apart. His goals were.
And his first goal was only 1 minute after he came onto the field. So a very positive start. But again, of course, that did come against 10 men. He's a quality player. And I think we might be at a bit of a loss for the fact that we didn't sign him. But I don't think that diminishes any of the quality that we did pull into the team.
Well, you can't deny that our signings over the past years we've had some of the best signings in our transfer history. In one of the Premier League, we signed some gems which won us the Premier League, like Kante, Mahrez, who cost us, chips. They cost us nothing, and they won us, more than money can buy. So with Fofana, we find little gems that we make to be unreal players. Like Maddison, we made Maddison to play yesterday. Maguire would never have gone to Manchester United if we didn't sign him, make him into a good defender. I trust our team. I trust, whoever's making all these signings, I trust them enough to know that we didn't go for him and go for other players. You know what I mean? I trust our knowledge in signings enough to go, we made the right ones. So for now, I'm not overly bothered that we didn't get him, as long as the signings we got turned out well.
Completely agreed. I think even if we put that lineup back up there, I think one of the great things that this lineup shows is the fact that we have that perfect mix of both young, new signings that are very positive that we signed over the last few seasons, like your Yuri Tielemans, your Chalar Soyuncu, your James Madisons, like those quality players that are a reflection of our scouting network, mixed in with those sorts of like older heads, long time within the team players, your Kasper Schmeichels, your Mark Albrightons, your Jamie Vardys, those players who have really become your sort of blue-blooded Leicester City-centered players. Even though Albrighton was rumored to be leaving us towards the end of last season, he's been there since the Premier League winning season, and he's one of those players that really works well to sort of marshal the troops around him whenever he's up there in the midfield. If any players are looking shaky, he really helps to sort of seal up a player like Ndidi, who is such a brick wall in the midfield. Yeah. And I think we could see a real midfield battle in that middle third between our middle 4 and Manchester City's middle 4, possibly even their front 6. So I definitely think that sort of nice mixture that we have of your players like your Barnes, your Ndidi, your Albrighton, will really sort of help to solidify that midfield because they're going to have a big task ahead of them.
Oh, definitely. Bring up that image again.
Yep. Man City's or Leicester's?
Leicester's. Who's playing left back?
Left back, we have Ryan Bertrand, from what I've read.
And who's the image you put up?
You know what? That's a very good point. I have left Ricardo Pereira on there.
You put Ricardo on there instead of Bertrand.
So a little bit of behind the scenes for you to know is that so that's a Photoshop file that I keep open on my second monitor. And during those opening discussions, I'm desperately trying to shuffle players, line up the formation, fill in the players. I had Ricardo in there because that's who the Independent thought was going to be starting last night. Forgot to update that image.
Yeah, just confirm that was a Brighton player there, not Ricardo.
So yeah, thank you for keeping me on the straight and narrow there. Yeah, I will occasionally have some mistakes like that in those lineups. So yeah, if we do end up referring to that in the future, I will make sure that we get Bertrand back in there. Simon Batterby saying that Albrighton should never start anymore. He's become inconsistent and very limited. I think that's a little bit harsh on him. I think one of the things that's fair to say about Albrighton is that he's not a 90-minute player. He's still very solid for about half an hour to 60 minutes. It's just a question of if you want that to be 0 to 60 or halftime to full-time. But what he brings is a sort of mentality shift to wherever you put him on the field. And he's very, very industrious. One of the things that you can never say about Mark Albrighton is that he doesn't put a shift in. Yeah. Against any opponent.
He works his socks off. And I think Brenton today, you can see it in the lineup, he's gone with every player there is experienced. I think that's the reason maybe he's gone with experience more than the fact of playing Dewsbury Hall, Daka, Samare, because he doesn't want players going in there that aren't Premier League, they don't know the Premier League as well as other players. And, they don't know how to deal with certain situations. Every player we've got on that pitch knows the Premier League really well. They know what they've experienced in how to play against Manchester City. So we can definitely see in this lineup, experience and knowing what to do it when. So I feel Brighton starting is actually a right call in this situation. I think he knows what he's doing. He knows the right passes. He knows when to go forward, when to go back. He's maybe lost a bit of consistency since, we won the title, but I think for this game, I think it's the right call to start him.
Agreed. I think a lot of the times in the absence of Ayoze Perez, I think your options to put on that sort of right midfield, right wing would have been, like you called me out for earlier, is Mark Albrighton or Ademola Lookman. And I find that it's very rare, unless you've signed, a world-class, world-beating certain player, they don't start in their first game after they've signed. They're usually a player that comes on for the last 30, the last 40 minutes of the game, so that you're not putting them into an unfamiliar space out the get-go and leaving yourself possibly exposed on that part of the field, but you're still giving that player that chance to sort of squeeze into the team and show the fans what they can do. And I think Albrighton is the perfect player to start in that position when you have Lookman on the bench. Because like I said, where he starts to get inconsistent is when he has played for too long in a game. So I think we are set up very, very well here to have Albrighton in there, sort of marshal those around him, even those in front and behind him, like a little bit of influence on Soyuncu, a little bit of influence on Vardy as well. And then you can take him off if he starts to get a little bit slower around the 60-minute mark, and you can put
Lookman.
You can put Lookman on. Ross, I see you've joined us. If you want to give me a thumbs up, I can put you up on screen.
We got it about Martin.
Yo,
hey there, Ross.
And Jono.
How's it going?
Right?
We're doing well.
Good. I'm on my iPhone, so if I go like that, so I can hear you. So
no worries. Whereabouts are you?
I'm about to go on the Rapids in a minute, so a Leicester Fan TV exclusive, me on the Rapids in a few minutes.
I feel like you're always bringing us exclusive. You're bringing us exclusive food takes. You're bringing us to the theme parks.
Yeah, I look forward to it. So.
Do you get wet a lot?
No, a little bit, but
I'm not in the queue.
Oh, you're not in the queue.
Have you gotten a chance to see the lineup?
I'll give my quick prediction. And then just I'm about to go on Rapids, I'll come back in and you can have exclusive Rapids. So obviously gutted that Amarty's obviously been dropped, but you know, Leicester guard hopefully can do the business. I'm gonna go with a 2 in case I don't. Sorry, I'm reading that. We will see. You will see. We'll find out. I'll see if I do any swearing. I do apologise, but there won't be anyway.
Family channel, Ross.
I'm gonna go with Leicester to win 2-1. Jamie
You're lining up perfectly with our other commenters.
I'm going to go with Leicester guard to get an header. And what score do you think it'll be, Charlie? 2-0. 2-0. Who will score? Yeah. Mardy. Daka. If he comes on, Daka. So, are you both doing watch along today?
We are.
We are.
Yeah, are you both watch along? So really, oh God, my brightness has gone right down. You know, I'll be a few minutes, and then you'll see a live exclusive, some Rapids.
We look forward to it, Ross. We got about 15 minutes before kickoff, so just make sure you can get on before then. All right. So you know what? Ross gave us a bit of a score prediction as we do get into these final 15 minutes before kickoffs. Please get your score predictions in. If you'd like to come on and give us a little bit of your views as well, please click on the link that we put in the chat. If it's gotten a little buried in the chat, let me know, and I can definitely send it in again. But yeah, let us know your score predictions. Jono, I'd love to hear what you're thinking as well. I know we did mention at the start that neither of us are feeling super optimistic about it for this game, but of course, anything can happen. What are you thinking?
I'm not going into this game and thinking we're going to we're the underdogs, we're going to give them a fight, we're going to win. I'm not going in like that. I'm going in is that we got to, as long as we put our shift in and show that there's quality there, we put in a good, performance. I'm like, yeah, okay, this is good. I don't want us to go out there and just capitulate and lose 5-0 or 6-0. I'm going to say 3-1 to Man City only because of the form we've been in from the beginning of the season. I don't feel we can improve enough from then to now in order to give them a decent game. Like, no, not a decent game, but like make us win. But I want them. That's not me being like, I want us to lose. I want them to prove me wrong. I want them to go out there and prove me wrong. But I feel that's what's going to happen.
Totally. Like you can be realistic without being detrimental to the team, and I think it's totally fair that if you don't think we'll pull off a win. I don't want to say that we'll lose. I think that it will end in a draw, and I think it's going to be very cagey. I think we're probably going to end up seeing a 1-1 with a very, very anxious, probably last half hour of just nothing but us sitting in front of the screen like this, like commentating on a very cagey back and forth in the middle third.
I don't want another Wolves. I don't want another Wolves game. That was...
Michael, if you're going to call us out like that, you got to give us a score prediction. On that note as well, I did just double check our Facebook page to confirm that we do have some contests going on as well. So please head on over to our Facebook page. And if you can predict the final score and the first goal scorer of the game, you can win 2 free pizzas from our partners at Peter's Pizzeria. So head on over to our Facebook page and you can double check all of the rules and you can give yourself a chance to win some tasty looking treats there. And on top of that, we have a second one that is going as well. If you can guess which minute the last goal will be scored in that game, you could win yourself a 20-pound trip to the Chippy, courtesy of our partners at Pukka Pies. And before you call me out on it, I do know that this graphic says West Ham on it. I did not make this one. But yes, please head over to our Facebook page, check out those contests, and get in those predictions.
I love how you called it a chippy.
I got it. It's on the graphic. Big Dan saying, how do we feel about Barnes' poor form recently? I think the whole team has been a little bit on and off. I don't think it's fair to call any one player out and say that they've been poor. Even Jose Perez, I know he's been getting a lot of shtick lately from a lot of the fans, but I don't even think it's fair to say that he has been distinctly poor. I think it's just been a lack of cohesiveness and a sort of connection between all the players. We've seen a lot of passes that have failed between a lot of the team members. So I don't think we can really say that Barnes himself has been poor as much as Leicester City has been kind of poor. And if we can solve that, I think we're going to see Barnes shine.
I agree. I don't think one player has been the detrimental fall of the team. I don't think it's, one player playing poor and the rest playing good. The whole team hasn't clicked. We scraped to win against Wolves. If Troyer has any sort of clinical finishing, we'd have lost that game. We got destroyed by West Ham. We got a win, scraped to win against Norwich. Luckily, because VAR ruled out a goal. So if we put a performance in, I think Brennan would have spent this past international break sitting down and going, right, how can I make it so the team's cohesive and together? But I think if he does that, I reckon we'll play really good football today. And players like Maddison, Barnes, Vardy will come into their own. It will come. It just takes time. Beginning of this, we're so used to us Leicester coming out the gates beginning of the season, playing really well and falling off at the end of the season. This season, opposite way around. We start off the season a bit dodgy, trying to find our feet. A lot of new players coming in. But when we find our feet, we'll play good football. It will come. And that's why I think we'll lose against Man City. Not because I'm like, we're going to play rubbish, because we just haven't got the start, started yet.
I think this is fully what we were discussing right there. Individual players get scapegoated when really it's the teamwork effort. And unfortunately, I worry that sometimes that drives players out of the club. I know we saw a lot of hate directed towards Chilwell before he left. Your Damari Grays. So I definitely think that it's important when you are looking for, if the team loses, look at it holistically and don't just immediately point the finger at one individual player.
If one player makes we can say against West Ham, Soyuncu made a horrendous error by, passing it back and them scoring from that. Yes, it was a horrific error and it was his fault that the goal was conceded, but we lost 4-0 or 4-1, whoever it was. The whole team didn't play well. If we were winning 1-0 and it was 89th minute and he did that, then you can blame him for his error. But for this season so far, we haven't been linked as a team yet. We're sort of like that, sort of thing. We're not fully there, and when we get there, we'll see the good football.
Fair. And Nick, it is fair, especially if a player is starting to say that they want to leave the club and they're overtly making it clear that they don't want to be a part of Leicester. That's obviously something different. But I think, for example, I'll be a bit of a defender of Ayoze Perez. I feel like he gets way more hate than is warranted, even on days where he is rightfully to be pointed out as a player that had a poor performance. He gets blamed for everything that is wrong with Leicester City, and I don't think that's right. I'm going to take a... Oh, sorry. Just before we do jump on that topic, I'm going to do a quick favor for Michael that will disappoint him. I'm not from the right part of Canada for this because I say out and about. I don't have that oot because that's from another part of the province that I'm from. That's you're looking at about a 12-hour drive to get to the part of Canada where people sound like that. And then, Terry, I am going to have to apologize for this, but we are a watch-along, so we're a chance for you to sort of take in the game with some live commentary, but we will not be putting the game up on screen. I will always just have the rollout background with some kits hanging on it.
Some dirty kits behind you.
I will always have the good kit and the dirty kit. That's always how I'm going to have the backdrop for the watch-along. So before that, we were just talking about the hate that's directed towards Ayoze Perez. So I know that even some of the people on this channel, they just don't like Ayoze Perez, and that's totally fair. But I think at the end of the day, he does just sometimes get more hate than is deserved.
I do agree. He does get more hate than he does. No player deserves hate. If you have a bad game, we're humans. Everyone has a bad game or makes mistakes. It's going to happen. So we can't, this season, we can't blame him or any player for the results or the way we've been playing. You can't do that. But with a player plays bad, I call out Schmeichel. He didn't play he played awful against Norwich. His distribution was awful. If a player plays bad, I call it out. If a player plays good, I call it out. I think Perez played phenomenal in one of the pre-season games. Was it against Villarreal? He played phenomenal.
Yeah,
it was outstanding. I think when he plays like that, he's brilliant. But it's just that he's not consistent. That's my only criticism I have for him. He's not consistent. Some games he plays really well. Some games he plays average. Some games he plays poor. If he has good performances often, then we'll see it.
Totally. Just going to quickly bring up Stevie's comment here asking for score prediction. So we did quickly mention ours a little bit earlier in the stream. So I'm going for a 1-1 draw. I believe, Jono, you had a 3-1 Manchester City win. Would love to see you get your score prediction in the chat. We are 8 minutes from kickoff by my calendar over here. I've got the broadcast on beside me, and I'm just seeing a bunch of fans in the stands. They're starting to file into the stadium. So yeah, please get your score predictions into the chat. And while we have a few minutes left, I am going to pop the link back into the chat. So please feel free to come on and give us your views in these last few minutes. If you got a quick score prediction, if you've got any opinions on the lineup, on the game that you would like to give us before kickoff. They are currently just showing the table. Both Manchester City and Leicester City tied on points, 6 points from 3 games. Same records of 2 wins, 1 loss. But of course, Manchester City has a much higher goal difference with +9 versus Leicester's -1.
If we win 11-0, we're brilliant. I don't think if we don't, we'll be the same goal difference. But look, you can't really look at the table this early because Arsenal won't finish 20th. That won't happen. Manchester City will be above West Ham, that sort of stuff. But it shows an indication of who's getting out the gates early. Manchester City's played some of the best football this season so far than any other team, I feel. Maybe other than Manchester United, but we played some of the worst football I feel we've played in a long time this season so far. But what shows a good team is they get results from playing bad performances, and we have done. We've got 2 results from playing bad.
I'm going to cut you off a little bit just because with our time running out, we got 2 people coming. We got Michael and we got Ross. I'm going to put Ross on first just because I believe, Ross, you're about to go on the Rapids.
In about 2 minutes, I will be.
Okay, I'll put you on in the 2 minutes then just because I got to get Michael on first. All right, Michael, let's talk.
Between America.
You're in between the North Americans now. You're the one with the accent on stream.
That's right. Well, Elijah has the out and about accent that we make fun of here in these states. But yo, look, Man City, come on, early in the season, we need a win here today. We need to show our swag. Look, if we come out timid, if we come out like this is the best team with the most money that we're going against, we're going to get slaughtered today. It seems like this season at the beginning, we don't have the swag that we had the beginning of last season. Even though we have the exact same team, it seems like the boys haven't adapted to what Brendan's trying to put into training. Maybe there's more new signings than usually happens in the off season. I don't know. The first 3 games haven't been spectacular, even if we got the 6 points out of it. Today, what we really need to do is assert ourselves as the team in the middle of England that everybody needs to come see and beat. And Man City, I'm not scared of them at all. We beat them 5-2 last season, didn't we?
At least one person doesn't need to be scared.
Didn't they lose to Tottenham earlier this season? With a Harry Kane-less Tottenham. Come on, y'all. This 1-1 draw prediction and this cagey game prediction. Y'all, man, we got to have a little more optimism about our boys today. Come on. Madison, look at this picture right here. We need something from these guys today. Forget the new signings. We need something from these guys today. Our strong couple years staying with the squad. This is who Brendan trusts. That's why the new signings haven't, seen the field in the Premier League. We'll see them on Thursday, but we need these guys who have shown and proved versus Man City to come. The wonder goal for Madison last year for the fifth one, or was it the fourth one? Oh my God, he comes in and just puts it in the top left corner of Ederson. Like, come on, you guys. 3-1. 3-1. Leicester City. Come on, 3-1.
Perfect. I was about to ask you for your score prediction before we let you go. Also, before we let you go, I always love to point out your dedication to the team because I consider it bright and early here. What time is it out there?
Yes, it's 6:56.
There it is. All right. Thanks for joining us, Michael.
Yeah.
Bye, Michael.
Have a great watch along, Elijah. I'll see you on Thursday.
Take care. All right, Ross. How close are you to the Rapids?
Nearly there. Nearly there. I'll show you what I'm about to go on. One of them.
All right.
Just before I do,
line it up with kickoff.
Yeah, but before obviously I get on there and scream like a girl, as someone says. We'll win today, 2-1. Tough game, Man City, but we're good against these at home. Apart from last year, we've done well against them. We've beaten them 2-1s, and all that's over a few years. So that's why I've gone with 2-1 and 4-2s. So let's see what happens. And we shouldn't be afraid to. We should only get a draw against the so-called big club. But end of the day, that so-called big club has just lost to Crystal Palace today. In meaning Spurs, they lost 3-0 to Crystal Palace. So here we go.
Really?
I'm the second one. I'll be second to last. So you get a live exclusive before the game starts. So the overview.
Your timing is going to be perfect because they are just showing the lineups on screen for the broadcast. So I can confirm my graphic was wrong. We're going with a 4-4-1-1 according to the Premier League broadcast. So the same lineup as you saw, but it looks like Madison will be tucking in behind Vardy instead of being side by side.
I'm going to regret this. My son was going to come on it, but he realised how soaked everyone's going to get, so he decided not to do it. And I don't blame him.
You're going to be flying solo? Oh, I really hope you don't lose connection right before you get on.
Well, he hasn't got long. He's got 2 minutes to go.
Yep. They're just running through the Manchester City lineup. They are going to be going with a 4-3-3 as we showed on the graphic. And we are going to have to give full credit to the Premier League broadcasters who did manage to put Ryan Bertrand's graphic over Ryan Bertrand's name, which is a one-up over me.
Yes. Not Ricardo.
I'll just mute you for a sec. It's quite loud a minute. I'll get on.
No worries. Thanks, Ross. We will. We can also we'll keep you on stream, even if we end up going a little bit over kickoff, because we built up the hype too much.
So if you go down the Rapids, at the end of it, we score. You have to go to the Rapids all day.
Yes.
I can't hear me, can he? It's a bit loud, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be.
But
so the players are just getting a little bit of hydration. I think I will as well. Jono, do you have a drink lined up for today's watch along?
Water.
Here we go. That's one of our bids now. Oh God, let me get him a seat.
Here we go, Ross.
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you. Your timing is perfect. The players are just out on the field.
We're just about to kick off.
It's a Leicester Fan TV exclusive. So I know it's kicked off. Imagine that we scored just having win down. That'll be quite fun.
You'd love to see it. So on my broadcast, as I see, we're just looking at Pep Guardiola. Players are just taking their positions on the field. Price still going to have to take the knee as well. Just going to say for drinks, so other drinks are available, but I'm sticking with my tradition of picking up an import each time. Got some 65p Fanta Fruit Twist.
I haven't even moved properly yet.
Players are fully on formation and are taking the knee now. Nice round of applause. Those players hit their fans against their hands. And Man City is the kickoff. And we've kicked off. We are live. So we are in fact going to get some live Rapids and games simultaneously as the ball is currently held in midfield and is out for a Manchester City throw-in.
You can be my commentary for a few minutes until I get off, and then I'll watch the game myself.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Here we go.
Brendan Rodgers looking very stern in a nice suit. All right. Here we go. Jack Grealish up against Castagna, forced to play it backwards. held in the middle third. Just some passing back and forth amongst the Manchester City back four. Looks like Ross might have lost a bit of his connection.
Actually lost a little bit of his connection, but no, as Michael said, we have to start on the front foot. We can't be cagey. We can't pass around the back and try and slow everyone up the field. We have to just go.
I thought I went offline then.
Please keep a solid hold on that. Man City play across in. It is headed out by Ryan Bertrand as far as Gabriel Jesus, but they are holding the ball in the front third. Jesus on the wing tries to play in. Played out by Ndidi for a Man City corner ahead of Gundogan.
Here we go. Oh, this out.
Let me ask you this, audience. What channel do you get live commentary and Rapids in the same broadcast?
It's cool.
Man City lining up to take this corner. They have two players in there. Gundogan is going to take it. Plays a high cross in. Meets Laporte. Headed up by Madison as far as Grealish. Back in the mid-third.
I'm going to have to mute myself.
No worries. Grealish tries to play it into the center, and it goes off of Soyuncu for a corner kick.
Oh, it's cold.
Ross going to mute you for just a quick moment.
It's quite loud, isn't it?
This is going to be the kind of thing that gets clipped for the future. Just going to say. Gundogan is going to line up to take this corner possibly as well with Bernardo Silva alongside it. They play it short. Silva holds it in the corner, tries to play it back to Gundogan. He's up against Castagna just outside the penalty area. Plays the ball across the field, tries to find Grealish. Grealish being chased down by Bertrand. Ball comes back to the middle third. We have a moment of calm. Ross, we're going to check in with you again.
Yeah. I'm glad you muted that mic a minute because I had to let out some steam. Oh.
No worries.
I'll phone me back in a second. Hey, hang on, where's my mum? Hang on.
Here, Ross, why don't you quickly rate the Rapids out of 10 and then we'll let you go.
Yeah, out of 10, I'm going to say it's always a 10. I always go on that Rapids. But yeah, no worries. Come on, Leicester. I'll get this game up now. But yeah, have fun on your watch along, boys.
Thanks, Ross. Hopefully you can join us post-match as well. Take care. All right, let me get our score up as well. So we have survived that opening onslaught, but a lot of pressure in the opening few minutes from Manchester City. My clock is currently sitting at 3.5 minutes as they play out from the goalie for Manchester City. But 3, I would say, positive attacks from Man City, but no shots to show for it. Some pretty solid defensive work.
Yeah, we've get for the first 5 minutes. Make sure you just keep a clean sheet. Get comfortable in the game. Get used to the game. Then once you've settled in, then we could start breaking. But for now, just keep your head, keep cool. Don't make any mistakes. Just relax.
We did just get to see a moment of Vestergaard's towering form there as Gabriel Jesus tries to play a cross in, and it makes it nowhere by Yannick Vestergaard, who heads the ball back out, and it is currently out for a Manchester City corner kick. This is their third of the match so far. 3 corner kicks for City, 0 for Leicester. Cross comes in, bit of a calamity in the area, but the ball is headed out. As with Grealish near the corner of the area, plays it wide to Jesus, who's up against Soyuncu. Plays it across the penalty area and will find nobody. The ball is out for another Manchester City throw-in the final third. So we did talk about having to come out on the front foot. We are being penned back quite a bit, but nothing has seemed too troublesome as yet. But it definitely seems like it is going to be that cagey affair that we were discussing.
Yeah, I think Michael might have been a bit optimistic with it being us going straight forwards. Man City, of course, will be on the front foot trying to get ahead, but we just need to get past these first 5 minutes.
Exactly. City currently have the ball on the wing, play it through to the center, but he is tackled. Let me check who that was. That was number 16. Rodri tried to play the ball up the middle, but was met with 3 Leicester City players, and the ball is now back into their defense. Tries to play it up the wing via Grealish, who will find Bernardo Silva, who gets by Soyuncu, gets into the area, crosses it ahead of Tielemans. The ball will fall to Jesus. Excellent save by Kasper Schmeichel. Ball is still in the area. Bernardo Silva blocked by Soyuncu. Another shot, once again blocked. And that is a free kick to Leicester City after Soyuncu takes a knock to the leg. Looks like that might have been an errant follow-through, but a very, very good save by Kasper Schmeichel at point-blank range. Denies Gabriel Jesus a possible opening goal very early in this match. It was a nice header, but right into the awaiting chest of Kasper Schmeichel. And then a couple consecutive blocks. And yeah, Soyuncu just gets caught up in between Rodri's legs. He knocks him to the ground to take a little bit of the pressure off. It is a free kick in the penalty area to Leicester City, but Man City's pressure is starting to pay off for them as they've had a couple quality chances there. But again, still, Schmeichel and the defense holding strong.
Yeah, that was great defending. That was good. As I said, this is sort of what's what we need to do. We need to be together, make sure we're just committing everything to the ground, make sure we're, blocking everything, making sure we don't concede early. Then we just need to settle in. We just need to settle in.
Got to cut you off because we've got Jamie Vardy coming in towards the penalty area. He plays it across the face of goal. Oh my goodness. And Harvey Barnes might have been knocked down there. I think that will be reviewed. Ederson is still on the ground. Play to Ndidi. It is blocked and out for a Leicester City corner. A lot of calamity in the penalty area there with a collision between Walker, Ederson, and Harvey Barnes. Just some excellent build-up play. While Alan is saying, looks like I assume the Alamo already there. It was an excellent piece of counter-attacking play from Leicester City. A lovely no-look pass from Yuri Tielemans finds Mark Albrighton, who plays a lovely lofted ball to Jamie Vardy, who, like we said, pulls that defense apart, found acres of space across the area to play Barnes into, but he gets caught up by Walker, and the 3 of them all collide together, those 2 and Ederson. Man City calling for a corner kick. I think there might have been some calls for a penalty from the Leicester City side of things there, if there was some contact between Walker and Barnes, before finally the ball does go out for a corner kick. But before that is to be taken, Ederson is getting checked out by the physio team, as is Harvey Barnes.
This is why I wanted O'Brien to start. He finds those key passes.
Oh, goodness. It appears as though Ederson might have either busted his nose or split his lip, but there is some blood on Ederson's side of things. So he might have taken a knock to the nose there.
Are they still reviewing a penalties, Chow?
I'm not sure because, again, we have the commentary off on our broadcasts, but I haven't seen anything to indicate a VAR check, so I would assume that if anything has been done, that was very quickly swept away. Looks as though the current concerns are just the well-being of the 2 players.
Could you check?
Ederson is being brought a new jersey in case there might be some blood on his shirt.
Could you check our private chat for a second?
Yes, I can. Yes, I will give that a quick chance. Chat, please let me know in case my my video cuts out a little bit. So one of the things that we're going to try to do is I'm just going to try to send a feed of the game that I've got to Jono so that we can make sure that we're synced up time-wise.
No, I agree. It's good that he's getting treatment,
All right. Just going to quickly get that up. So, John will let me know if that works. Fee, great to see you. Glad you are joining us as well.
Your connection seems fine at the moment, Elijah.
Perfect. Perfect. So, again, we are still in a lengthy break in play here as both players are continuing to receive medical attention. Scott Carson does not appear to be warming up, though, so it does appear as though, and I'm not seeing anyone warming up on the Leicester City side of things either. Ederson currently has a mouthful of gauze and is going to be staying on the field.
So obviously VAR reviewed that and it wasn't a penalty decision.
Yep. Corner comes in, Vestergaard meets it with his head, but it is just over the bar and will be out for a goal kick. Babatunde coming in with Leicester for Champions League win.
Maybe next season, not the.
Yeah, two seasons, and then we'll be Champions League winners. They have played the goal kick short, and there's just some passing around in the Manchester City defensive third.
But no, it's good that Leicester got up the field. That will just make calm us down and go. We can get up the pitch, give our defenders a bit of respite. It's good. And this is why
exactly
important. We can actually get something on the set pieces for once. We can actually get involved in them. Not this. We're so poor at the set pieces last season. We can actually have someone to be involved in it.
Exactly. And also, I think one of the things that did was that just also served to break a little bit of Manchester City's momentum as they came forward. Because, of course, like we were saying, in that opening 10-ish minutes, Manchester City had 3 corners, 2 shots, one of which was blocked, one of which was saved. But some real quality chances. Ryan Bertrand goes in for a sliding tackle on Rodri, and it is called fair. Madison currently has the ball in the midfield, tries to find Jamie Vardy there, but cannot. And there's just a bit of tussling going on in the middle third. A big sliding challenge there. I think that was by Harvey Barnes. We'll play that back to Castagna, and we will just take a moment to regroup. Yes, Fee, it is still 0-0 at the moment, but you did miss some quality chances on both sides of the pitch. Harvey Barnes nearly a chance at for Leicester City, as well. Gabriel Jesus with a point-blank header that was right into the chest of Kasper Schmeichel.
I think what we just saw from Brian Bertrand is class. He may be in his 30s, but he knows how to go forwards, and that challenge was brilliant. He knows how to. That's experience coming in there. He knew where to be at the exact time. Made a brilliant tackle. I think this game already we're seeing a lot more commitment. We're seeing actually players doing their rolls. Vardy's doing a run in. This is a much better start to the game, even though we're up against the fence for 5 minutes. I think this is a much better start than West Ham's game.
Completely agreed. I think a lot of that definitely came from the fact that, like we were mentioning in the pregame, we have a lot of those older, more experienced heads in the lineup that are really just sort of helping to marshal the troops and make sure that the tactics are being adhered to. And we're not seeing a lot of those players that might have been a little bit shakier, a little bit more acting on their own, and therefore ending up out of position.
Just Man City patting it around midfield at the moment, trying to find a way forwards. But we're standing strong. We're not making it an easy path through at the moment, which is good. We're keeping our shape.
Exactly. I think one of the things that I will just say, boilerplate for this watch along, is if you ever just tune in and we're just talking to each other about something aside, it usually means there isn't an active play going on. But now Bernardo Silva tries to play in a cross. It will go across the face of goal. Falls to Gundogan. Excellent block by Ryan Bertrand, as you were just mentioning. It greatly stops a lovely half volley from Gundogan with his ankles, and play calms down a little bit more. However, ball is back with Bernardo Silva in that exact same place where he plays in the cross, plays a low cross, but will be stopped by Ndidi, played out by Soyuncu, plays his pass a little bit harsh, but we do retain possession in Castagna. Lovely bit of play to get it to Tielemans, and now we are just passing the ball around between ourselves a little bit, just trying to get back into shape.
I think that's what you need to be careful of there, because the one reason why they did get in there because of Grealish's brilliant footwork. He knew exactly where his teammate was. He did a nice flick on and immediately doing a cross. So that's something we need to be careful of. Grealish's ability to turn players.
One of the other things that I think deserves a bit of credit as well is we do a lot of talking about Youri Tielemans in a sort of number 9 role, but we've been really seeing him as a sort of deep line playmaker, almost a central defensive midfielder for a lot of the defending that we've been doing lately. And he's just been doing well to show that he can do it all. Jamie Vardy gets tripped in the middle third and earns a free kick there. Nothing too malicious. I think it was just a little bit of a tangle of the feet. Just going to bring up a couple comments as well. Ryan Bertrand has been a shining light this match so far. He's been doing very well, not only to sort of lock up those Manchester City players, but of course he's also come in with a key block or two. And then Vestergaard also looking very good, both on offense and on defense, just using that size to really dominate play.
Go on, Bertrand.
Ball is currently in the area with Harvey Barnes, but he gets tangled up a little bit, and the ball will fall into the arms of Ederson. But again, another nice piece of counter-attacking play. We move the ball up the pitch very, very quickly. And just unfortunately, Harvey Barnes couldn't get his feet to that ball that was played into him. But two very high-quality chances to get the ball to Barnes in the middle and showing that we're doing much better at that build-up play and that counter-attacking football than we did against West Ham United. And I think a little bit as well, we talked about how Brendan Rodgers and his no-plan-B lifestyle might have been found out. I think it does show that there is still some efficacy to that.
Yeah, I think the reason why last season it was a bit no plan B was because we didn't have the squad for no plan B. We didn't have the ability to switch players around as we wanted. You know, we had to sort of stick with three at the back because we had no other choice. You know, we didn't have any. You know, as soon as Justin was injured, and it all fell to pieces. So I think this season now we've got the opportunity to have three at the back, four at the back, even five at the back. You know, Brendan Rodgers can now expand his possible tactics. You know, his like, oh, if plan A doesn't work, I can put you there, bring him in to change it. So I think this is a good opportunity for Brendan to show that he's not just one tactic guy.
Exactly. And it is nice to see a little bit more variety. I mean, Brendan Rodgers is a very I'm going to cut off my talk here. As Manchester City are now pressuring in the forward third. Ball is currently, I believe, with the ball is played up over the top. Gundogan cannot get there in time, but an excellent lobbed ball by Joao Cancelo there nearly finds Gundogan in a one-on-one situation. It was a very well played through ball. Bertrand was playing him onside at the time, but was too close to the sideline to be able to catch up with him. But unfortunately, just a little bit too much on the pass. Very high through ball that almost would have set us up for another break, but unfortunately, it was just too high for Castagna to be able to control on the sidelines.
I'm sorry. From a water bottle.
Yep, no problem. I'll just remove you from the stream for a moment. So again, things are just sort of being passed around in the middle here. Manchester City controlling it around with their back four. I'm just going to bring up this comment from Rebo for a minute. So Brendan said Lookman will get some time in this game, so it'll be nice to see him play. We did mention in our pre-match a little bit. I'm just going to come back to that. So we have Grealish coming in on the he's up against Castagna and will find Cancelo outside the penalty area. Plays in a lofted high cross that will not find anybody, and it is out for a Leicester City goal kick. So again, just pull that back up. So Brendan said Lookman will get some time in this game. It will be nice to see him play maybe. Jono and I were discussing that in the pre-match that he's going to be that perfect foil for if Albrighton starts to get a little bit more consistent because he's not the kind of player that plays a full 90 minutes, but is very influential for maybe 45 to 60 minutes. So Lookman will be a nice bring-in substitute, and I'm 90% certain that he'll come on for Albrighton. Coming forward, plays a nice shot. And it was just, I don't know if that was parried wide by Schmeichel or if that was a wide shot, but Schmeichel still did a lovely dive there. It was unfortunately poor control by Tielemans. Ball bounces off his feet and it falls perfectly to Bernardo. So it was in fact parried by Schmeichel. Very well played there. Bernardo Silva does very well. Credit to him as well for taking a shot under pressure from two different people. But yeah, very, very well played by Kasper Schmeichel. And it is out for a corner kick. He is not joined by Cancelo this time. It is going to be Gundogan alone to play in this cross. So they're going to be playing it locked in, and he does play it in.
Yeah,
they do not meet the ball, but it falls to Grealish on the outside of the area, under pressure from Madison. Tries to play the ball up and over, and it is out for what looks like a goal kick.
I think with Vestergaard in the box, that allows us, we're a lot less deceptive to crosses. I think he's shown twice in this game why he's so important. One, heading it out, and two, crosses. We would have one shot on goal, attempted header goal. So
it was in fact a corner kick, and it gets played in and falls to Bernardo on the outside of the area. Tries to play a nice cross in. Will be headed out, I believe, by Vestergaard there. Falls to Grealish near the middle third. Who is coming back, and he's under pressure by Tielemans, gets knocked over by Tielemans, and that will be a foul and a free kick. CF31, I believe NBC has the broadcasting rights of the Premier League in the United States. So this game, if not televised, you might want to try online through NBC.
This is what I said before, not giving away foul. I knew Grealish will bring fouls, and I said, as long as it's not in dangerous areas, it's fine, but they've got a free kick in a very dangerous area. So we need to defend this now.
Maddie's saying that Madison is missing again. I don't know if it's so much that as much as we just haven't had the ball up front too much. A lot of it has been pacey play, which is much more the wheelhouse of Jamie Vardy and Harvey Barnes than James Madison, who is more of a dribbler up the middle, and we just haven't had much opportunity to do that yet. So I don't know if that's as much Madison's fault as much as just the way the game is shaping up. Gundogan will take this free kick, plays it short, finds Grealish, who just fires it over the bar. But he catches Schmeichel by surprise there, who doesn't get a full hop to try to stop it. But at the end of the day, that ball is probably about a meter or two over the top of the crossbar.
I think he expected it. I think he just did that to show that he didn't put a hand to it. It was like, I was going over, I'm not touching it. I'm not going to.
Fair. It is always very hard with the depth perception to get exactly how close it was. The shot did end up looking a little bit higher than it first appeared from the TV angle on that review. But still a very quality chance. They are playing some unexpected balls, the way that some players are crossing when you expect them to shoot. The way that Gundogan didn't cross that free kick in, but played it very low across the ground. They're trying some unconventional tactics to try to just catch us flat-footed. And they're not quite getting us yet, but it is a little bit worrisome. Leicester's new kit does look fresh. I think one of the things that everyone on the channel has been in pretty much agreement with is that all three kits that we've got are very, very nice for this season. Wow. It's a little bit of a shame to see the sponsor go and this new sponsor come in, but I think everyone understands that we need a little bit more funds in the team at the moment.
I think Phil and Reedy would deny that they like the two, apart from the home show, they don't like the away in the third. But everyone else I spoke to like them. I like them. I bought all four training and all three kits. But 1 second.
We've got Harvey Barnes with the ball on the wing. He does outplay Kyle Walker, but is forced to face away from goal and play the ball back to Ryan Bertrand. And we are now back with our back four. Vestergaard tries to play it up, finds Castagna on the wing. Castagna plays the ball up through, finds Vardy, who is in the area but is well marked. He plays it back to Albrighton, who has the ball near the corner flag, plays in across, but it will not find Harvey Barnes and is out for a Leicester City throw-in. But some positive forward play there. But yes, so sorry, you were saying, so you've picked up all the training and all the kits for this season?
Not all the training. I picked one. It's like the sort of patterny training one, like a bit of green, greys in there. Oh, here we go. Man City on the counter-attack. Great defending. And,
smashed out of play by Suyuchu. He will have none of Gabriel Jesus' run, and that is out for a Man City throw.
You know, I think Suyuchu's game has been brilliant. He's made two brilliant blocks. He's headed it out. He's taking no nonsense. He's not faffing around. He's doing his job. I think with Bertrand and Vestergaard, he's showing now that he's brilliant. He's been brilliant so far this game.
Exactly. And again, it's one of those things that just whoever is Soyunchu's partner, and he's almost like a Ditto in Pokemon in that way. Like, he takes on the attributes of whoever his center back partnership is. And if he has that experienced brick wall type defender with him, he's a very, very solid center back. If he has someone hot-headed, he goes in for harder challenges. If he has someone more inexperienced, he looks very inexperienced on the field.
Come on, hit it up. Don't faff around.
Yep. Leicester City under a very high press from Manchester City, but have been able to find their players in space. Çağlar Söyüncü currently playing left back at the moment, or right back, sorry. And the ball is now back with Kasper Schmeichel, who plays it short. Very hard pass to Tielemans there, making it very hard for Tielemans to control, but the ball is now with Castagna. Has a couple breaking options with him. Vardy making a nice run in, but he's unable to find him. The ball is with Madison now in the midfield. Madison plays a nice curving pass right to Harvey Barnes with the outside of the boot. Lovely pass. Barnes is well marked by Walker. Plays the ball upfield. Ball's back with Barnes now. Cross comes in. Will not find Mark Albrighton, and that is out for a Manchester City goal kick. But again, we're getting that pressure in. We're not just penned back in our half for the entirety of this game. Definitely Man City has been the better attacking side, but there's more back and forth than I think a lot of us would have been expecting.
I think we've been, we haven't settled into this game yet. We haven't got, our passing hasn't been fluid perfectly yet. We're still trying to settle in, but there's a lot of positive to take from this so far. Compared to Norwich, compared to the West Ham and Norwich game, defensively we're a different team. We're in cohesion. We know what the players are doing. We know what Brendan's got them in a way where tactically there's a free kick.
A harsh tackle in midfield by Rodri on Yuri Tielemans. Rodri will be booked for that. But Tielemans is face down on the ground at the moment. He has taken a hard knock, not sure where. We're just seeing a replay on it now.
That's a red card. I'm sorry. If Perez got red carded for that, that's a red card. If Perez, if the boot touches the ankle, it's a red card.
He did go. It was studs in on Yuri Tielemans' ankle. And Tielemans was in mid-stride at the moment, which will make that especially painful. Soyuncu does appear to be calling for the physio team to come on. Tielemans is at least sitting up now, but definitely painful. So the thing is, I didn't think that Perez's red card was all that justified. I understand the way that the rules are worded, but I can see why at the same time that would be very, very tenuous if Rodri were to get sent off for that.
But I didn't think the Perez one's a red card. But that's what the law is. If the ankle or the foot, I'm sorry, how was Perez sent off, but not him? I'm sorry.
Yeah, he has not been sent off, and the free kick has been taken. Mark Albrighton gets tackled, and Man City will now counterattack with Jack Grealish, who is being tracked down by Chalar Soyuncu, but he has Bernardo Silva on the wing, who he will play it to, plays the ball back in. Well played by Vestergaard to get the ball back, not only out, but to Castagna, who can then control, gets around Cancelo, and plays a lovely through ball to Mark Albrighton. Albrighton gets pushed down, and no free kick is going to be given, and that is quite annoying. In my opinion, I think that should have been a free kick. Fee, I'm trying to get there at the very least so that I can have them up for the watch-alongs that I'm hosting. At the moment, I'm only missing Leeds, Aston Villa, and Brentford, but I have the other 17. Speaking of Aston Villa, Jack Grealish is on the outside of the area, plays the ball through to Rodri, who takes a shot, and it is well held by Kasper Schmeichel. A lovely save there.
Sorry, that's really frustrated me. I think that should have a look by VAR, because if Perez and another player got sent off, something similar, something similar like that, if a boot touches the ankle when they didn't get the ball, it's a serious offence. I don't see how they didn't review it, but hey ho, big team syndrome.
Yep. It is definitely annoying. I think part of what might have done it was the fact that perhaps it's because Rodri got the ball first. It was ball first, and then the follow-through hit the ankle, whereas I don't believe with Perez is sending off, I don't know if he hit the ball first.
Maybe, but I think if he gets the ball or not, if you're going in with the ankle, I don't know. Move on. It's happened. I feel we're getting on the ball a lot better now. We're moving up the pitch. Passing is really good.
On that note, Harvey Barnes currently trying to play up the wing, but Vardy is in an offside position. He's not going to be able to pass to him. He's up against Walker and forced to play the ball back to Tielemans, who does get the ball back to Harvey Barnes, but will take a free kick instead after getting tripped up by Gundogan.
Better. This past 5 minutes has been brilliant. We've been the better team the last 5 minutes. We've not given. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that was very similar to what Rodri did. Gundogan's foot comes over and just goes right onto the front of
Tielemans' boot. Tielemans is having a nightmare. He's had 2 potentially horrific fouls on him, so he's got.
You don't normally see this much physicality from Manchester City, but they are going very, very aggressively against us.
I think they're getting frustrated. I think they've not scored yet. They're considering they thought, since they have to. Oh, you go, Elijah. You commentate.
Yep. Albrighton comes in, and Vestergaard gets knocked down. Is that a penalty?
No penalty.
No penalty given. So I'll be honest, that had me fooled for a moment, because the referee pointed at the spot, but it was open palm to say goal kick. We're just taking a look at that. Vestergaard it looked like he was being held by Grealish, but not even being reviewed. Goal kick has already been taken. I think so. 2 potentially frustrating calls for Leicester City there, but hopefully the players won't lose their heads as a result. Cross across the field will find Gabriel Jesus right by the corner flag. Ball is currently in Leicester's defensive third. Vestergaard just stomps right in there and punts the ball back out. It will be out of play after a bit of a tangle. That could be a Leicester City throw if a foul isn't given. It was a Man City throw in the end that is taken quickly, and the ball is now back in the mid-third. But yeah, two frustrating calls there. Both that again, like I'm not so sure that I would call for Rodri to be sent off there, but I think that at the very least should have been reviewed for a penalty.
I think I don't know what other people are saying in the comments, but I think, to be honest, I did not think Perez's one was a red card, but you know he got fouled, he was stumbling, but it was the way he went into the ankle was why he was sent off. If you get the ball or not, if you're going studs in and you plant your foot into someone's ankle, for me that is dangerous play. And the fact it wasn't even reviewed for a potential red card for me was, I think, poor. If it was reviewed, then fair enough, they reviewed it, but not even a review was poor.
Yeah, Albrighton will knock down Bernardo Silva in the area, but it looks as though it was a fair shoulder barge and no penalty is given, and it is out for a goal kick.
Very fair. That was a very good tackle from Albrighton. He's used his strength.
Yeah. Very well done. And Albrighton's not the kind of player that normally gets plaudits for being that sort of like solid player that's hard to run through. So very nice to see him coming in like that when needed.
Good job for Nzunchu there, taking his time, not going all ham. He just took his time, and that's what he needs to do. That's what makes him good. Not making rash decisions, taking his time and then making a move.
There's definitely more calculation amongst this Leicester City side. Grealish is again into our final third. Ball is played to Joao Cancelo. He tries to find Bernardo Silva, who cannot get what would have been a flying volley. He was really just trying to do the spectacular there, and I think he could have let it at least sit for a half volley there, and the ball falls into the arms of Kasper Schmeichel. We've been playing out short quite a bit. Both teams have been.
I was about to say we're passing out from the back, but we've been trying to get up the pitch quickly. We've not been. Oh, here we go.
And we're quite successful with that. Through ball cannot find Vardy, unfortunately, but it was well played. Vardy gives a quick thumbs up to, I believe that, who was that? That might have even been Vestergaard that played that.
So my stream isn't the best quality, so I can't see. All I see is blue and white shorts.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so for those who keep asking, like, how we're watching the game, so myself being from Canada, I'm watching the game through the Canadian broadcaster, which is a live streaming service. And their quality can sort of waver. So when I'm calling out names, I'm usually going off the number on the back of their shirt, which is all you can read. Ball is currently with Ferran Torres, who does get tackled by Ndidi, and Ndidi appears to win the throw as well.
Brilliant from Ndidi. He closed him down. No chance for him. He tried to turn, but kicked the ball out of play. That's why Ndidi for me is, he's brilliant. That's great play from Leicester.
I think you also mentioned a little bit that Man City might be getting frustrated. It looks as though Leicester might be trying to play into their heads a little bit. Just after Ndidi makes the successful tackle, you can see Bertrand just come up to Torres and give him a complimentary little pat on the back, almost just trying to get into his head a little bit. Schmeichel plays a high ball through to Castagna, who does very well to control and pass while marked by two players. Albrighton plays the ball back to Tielemans, who turns around to get away from Cancelo, and it is back with our back four. But we're not only seeing much better passing than we normally see from Leicester City, but also the players are doing much better at maintaining possession just when they're holding the ball.
You say that, we just put straight to the keeper.
Do we count as commentators? Are we technically giving a commentator's curse here?
We're not predicting the future. We're not saying, playing well, we're going to win. We're just saying, we're describing what's happening. So I think we're playing much better than we did so far this season. In terms of defensively, cohesion, work rate, especially against Norwich. So yeah, I think it's been good so far. All trying to through ball.
High through ball will not find Jack Grealish, and it is headed by Castagna, and Kasper Schmeichel will pick it up. Here's a quick question for you as we take yet another. Oh, we are actually playing the ball long this time. But I'm going to pull up this comment to ask you, would you rather have 15-16 Conte or Ndidi playing for Leicester? It's a very tough question.
I would say Kante. I would say Kante because he's much more consistent than Ndidi.
Just going to cut you off for a moment. Cross is played in, but it is blocked. But Man City currently have the ball at the corner of the area. Gabriel Jesus gets knocked down, but no foul is given, and Leicester City will try to play up from the back, but Barnes gets tackled, and ball is currently with Kyle Walker, who will play the ball between himself and Rodri, although play has now calmed down a little bit. So yeah, now, sorry about that. I'll pass back to you.
What was it talking about?
15-16 Conte versus Ndidi.
Oh yeah, I think Conte was more consistent, and his knowledge was better. I think Kante just, but what would you go for?
I would say that it's a very close call. I'll give my thought in just a second as Bernardo Silva plays in a cross. But we were just saying Ndidi punts the ball back out and Jack Grealish will take a throw in. I would agree 15-16 Conte purely on the consistency. I think if you look at both players, like this season's Ndidi or last season's Ndidi versus 15-16 Conte, if you looked at their best games, I'd say Ndidi might have been like a hair better, but Conte was definitely more consistent.
Yeah, Kante, matter when he played, great defending again.
Yep. But also some credit to Kyle Walker there, who does actually stop a blistering clearance. Vardy is on the ground, and a yellow card is shown to Aymeric Laporte for the challenge, and play is stopped. Rebo, just want to say a quick thank you for that comment. Really appreciate it. It's definitely great to be a part of the team. To be honest, the time difference makes it very hard for me to appear on the other shows, because anything that happens on a weekday is going to be happening during the workday here, because I'm about 5 hours earlier than the rest of the United Kingdom. But it's a pleasure to be part of the watch-alongs, and honestly, all of you that leave comments and come on screen, you guys make these watch-alongs a lot easier and a lot more fun to do, so definitely love to see your comments.
Thanks, Rebo.
Yes, thank you very much. And also full credit to Jono as well, who does a great job of filling the time with me on these watch-alongs.
Playing out for the back. They've been playing out at the back as well. They're not as front foot. They're not full on hoofing it anymore. They're taking it a bit more slow. So I think it's slowed down a bit now.
Yeah, it looks as though both teams have. Leicester City might have been a little bit slower on the uptake there, but it seems as though both teams have really started to get more comfortable here. Callum, I'm going to assume that you're from the UK. Just as it stands at the moment, so myself being from Canada, I'm watching the game through the official broadcaster in Canada, which is an online streaming service called DAZN. So we're currently watching the game through the Canadian broadcaster. I don't believe it's being broadcasted in the United Kingdom, but as a result, we do welcome you to join us on the watch along. Anything key that happens in the match, we'll be keeping you up to date on.
Can also have a quick say that no goals have been scored in any of the games so far, also of any 3 o'clock kickoffs today so far. So that's quite rare, actually. But even with Ronaldo starting against Newcastle.
Yeah, I just double checked that as well. That is because I know a lot of people were talking about that Newcastle versus Man United game and how that was supposed to be a goal fest. You know, people were expecting CR7 to get himself a hat trick on his Man United return. But yeah, full credit to Newcastle as well. You know, we're not actively watching that game at the moment, but shows some steely reserve from them to be able to hold them off for this long. This could be a booking for Leicester City as Ferran Torres goes down on the ground, and James Maddison takes a seat himself holding his shin. We're just watching the replay here. Oh dear, that was just unfortunate. It appears to be a collision of shins between Madison and Ferran Torres, but on his way down, Torres's head just unfortunately, as the way that he falls, takes a back heel from Ndidi to the forehead. And that was why he stayed on the ground. Nothing can really be said at fault there. It was just unfortunate the positioning everyone was in as Torres fell. But thankfully, he is getting up. It is a free kick for the collision on the shins. And looks as though Bernardo Silva and Gundogan are both standing over it, discussing between the two of them who's going to be taking that free kick.
I just want to say, we hope we go. It's thanks.
Just got to put a little bit of credit for you as well up on screen.
But we need to go into this half. We need to go into this halftime 0-0 or hopefully winning, but 0-0. We need to go in a halftime. You know, get our thoughts together. Maybe make some tactical changes. But
Gundogan plays the ball to Laporte, finds Grealish on the corner of the area, finds Laporte again, who will play the ball to Joao Cancelo, who will take a shot. Lovely block from Wilfred Ndidi, who just sticks a leg out behind and it hits that trailing leg. Another cross comes in. Manchester City will find it. Another block from a shot by Ferran Torres, and then Gundogan's shot also blocked. Excellent play from the defenders so far. Ball is played in again. Diving header by Yannick Vestergaard will play the ball back out, and things have calmed down a little bit. Leicester have retaken their shape. Cancelo will try to play a lofted through ball through, and Kasper Schmeichel will make the save. I'll tell you what, I think our best goalkeeper this game so far has been one of our central defenders, because I think they've made more stops than Kasper so far.
I think
that second, we were talking about how Tielemans has been taking a bit of a CDM role. He made that second block excellently done with his forward heel. Madison finds Vardy on a through ball, who just unfortunately has a heavy touch, and Ederson will pick it up. But that was a beautiful through ball by Madison there.
That was great play. Come on. I feel better about this game. We're playing well.
Bernardo Silva at the halfway line on the left-hand side finds Cancelo. Cancelo plays the ball up through the middle. It is now with Grealish on the wing. Still not yet in the Leicester City third, but trying to find himself some space. Runs into the center. Cannot play his pass across. And the ball will then find Aymeric Laporte, and it is back with the back four for City. But City move forward very quickly, and it is with Gundogan on the edge of the area. Takes a shot, but it is a dribbler that will easily find the arms of Kasper Schmeichel. Just going to quickly check the stats on this game. As it stands, the game has seemed quite level in terms of the quality chances that are being made, but Manchester City holding almost 70% possession, which is one of those things that we have seen from a lot of their games, that they're very good at keeping and holding the ball, whereas Leicester City have been trying to just get the ball and immediately get it forwards. Man City have just been holding the ball a lot more. 9 shots to 2 for Manchester City and 4 shots on target to 0. And passing accuracy 90% to 82% for Manchester City. Man City are leading in almost all of the statistics, although that does also include their 2 yellow cards, to which Leicester City have received no penalizations.
I think that's a thing. Is that you look at the stats and you look at the performance. I think it's not like we're always sat in defence and defending. We've had a good few moments up front, and we've defended. Well, hang on.
Yep, Grealish now has the ball on the outside of the area. He gets around Vestergaard and plays his cross through, but he finds Walker, who a great save by Kasper Schmeichel, and the ball is then played by Madison. And now Leicester City have the chance to counterattack. Yuri Tielemans, unfortunately, cannot beat the pace of, I think that might have been Kyle Walker, who came all the way from the right back position into the middle of the field. Another shaky moment for Leicester City there, but we do come out unscathed. Reba, I think we're all in agreement with you that we would love a win, but yes, this is it's a game that I think we're playing for a draw for at the moment. It looks as though that might have been another offside for Manchester City, and during this break in play, we're just seeing a replay of that shot. I think that was Gabriel Jesus, and yes, Kasper Schmeichel just does great to keep his feet planted and fall backwards, and the ball will hit him on the knee. Low-driven shot. Not the first time we've seen that from Gabriel Jesus this game. I think he's had 2 shots with his feet and a header, all from that similar position. But all 3 have been more or less at Kasper Schmeichel, who's just done well to stand firm and deflect the ball away. Chris P., We were just saying, so Manchester City has been leading in all of the statistics in terms of like possession, shots on target, passes. But we were saying that in terms of the way the teams have been playing, both teams have really settled into the game, and I think it's been very even. It's just Leicester City's play doesn't require as much possession. Mark Albright,
brilliant, Mark Albrighton. That was
absolutely sends 2 players back to Manchester to the shops, but then unfortunately loses the ball, and it is out for a corner kick. But as we hit the 46th minute with 2 minutes added time, this could be the last quality chance of the game, short of a very quick counter attack. Looks as though Vestergaard is coming forward, as is Soyuncu. So a lot of players crowding the Man City penalty area. We are into the last minute of the game. It looks as though Albrighton is going to just hold for a moment. He takes the corner kick now. Cross comes in, and it will find Madison outside the area, though. He will get past his man and get the ball to Soyuncu, of all people, on the wings. He will win Leicester City another corner kick, as I believe he played the ball off Ferran Torres there. A lot of players just pulled out of position there. We ended up with Ferran Torres playing as right back for Man City. We ended up with Çağlar Soyuncu playing as left winger. Very, very positive upfront play there. We normally don't see... Normally, a Leicester City corner just means it's going to be headed out by the defense. So nice to see at least some quality possession come out of that. Again, a lot of players in the area here, as Albrighton will play in the second corner from the opposite side. Falls, can't quite get to Vestergaard, and that ball will trickle out for a Manchester City goal kick.
And that should be the end of the half. It's 2 minutes.
Yep. The 2 minutes have now elapsed, so I'm going to expect Ederson to take the goal kick, and then halftime is called before the goal kick is taken. And so that is the 45-minute mark. Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0. And really, I don't think any of us are going to be complaining about that. And just for a quick update, taking a quick peek at the other scores, every single active game at the moment is currently 0-0 at halftime. So that is Watford versus Wolves, Brentford versus Brighton, Arsenal versus Norwich, Man United versus Newcastle, and Southampton versus West Ham, all of which have reached their halftime points at 0-0. But some quality play, some quality chances for both sides. And George Forty, I think, has given us a great topic to sort of take us into halftime. How do you feel about our Europa League chances? I personally don't want to make any call until we see that opening game against Napoli, because that will be a nice way for us to see like how we play on a Thursday. We're probably not going to be playing our regular Premier League rotations. It's going to be a challenge of our depth. We're probably going to be seeing more games for Sumare, for Daka. I think it's going to really come down to how that first game goes, because I think that's going to be sort of a benchmark for how the rest of our Europa League season is going to go.
Oh, hang on. Manchester United have just scored with Cristiano Ronaldo got his first goal for Manchester United.
Yep, I have to redact. So when I made that call, all of the games were called at halftime except for Man United versus Newcastle, which was at 45+3, which Ronaldo has just scored, and it is 1-0 as the halftime whistle goes. So Manchester United, the kings of scoring when you think the match has already ended or the half has already ended, he's done it again. And Cristiano Ronaldo scores the opener there, and that is the only game with a score with which to report. Actually, before we get into talking about the Pharma, I do want to hear your thoughts on Europa League and how you feel about our chances for that.
I think we're going to do quite well in the Europa League. I think, against Napoli, I think that'll be one of the toughest games of the group. Will we get off the Europa League campaign and a win? Are we at home? I think we're home, aren't we?
We are at home, I believe. I am just going to quickly double check that. I'm just taking some measures to get a little bit of bandwidth back. Okay, let me quickly check whether Napoli is at home or not. We are at home for that game.
I think it'd be good to kick off the campaign. A win at home against Napoli, that'd be a good start to the campaign. I think to win the whole thing, I think I would want to be against the quarter semi-finals this season, considering our squad depth. That's the reason why we got this squad depth, was to challenge for these sort of things. We don't want to get these players just to say, oh, we've got squad depth now, just get injuries. We want the squad depth to do things. We want the squad depth to challenge on all fronts. So I want to see us actually making a challenge. You know, we made our group stages just first, and we went out. So I think we need to make a good stance in this season and show we're not just there because we're there to actually challenge for the win.
I agree. I think like I said, it's going to be a benchmark for the way the rest of the group has gone. I think also we need to give a fair bit of cautious observation to Spartak Moscow as well, because we saw that Eastern European sides can sort of be a bit of a foil to Leicester City. We saw that with Zarya Luhansk. We saw that with Slavia Prague. So I think we are going to have to be very careful, and we can't go into any game assuming that we are going to win. Jake Duncott, just in response to your comment, I'm just putting the link in now. So yes, please, if you would like to come on camera, come and join us, give us your halftime views. So yes, now that has happened, let's talk a little bit about how halftime has gone. Kasper Schmeichel coming up big with some point-blank saves, mostly from Gabriel Jesus. But I think as well, we need to give a fair bit of credit to our central defenders and to Yuri Tielemans, who have all made some very, very crucial blocks. Yannick Vestergaard, Wilfred Ndidi, Chalar Soyuncu, and Yuri Tielemans, each of whom I can think has made one critical block. Because it seems as though Manchester City's play has been play it up through the wings, but then instead of a cross, just play low and backwards and get the ball into the top of our penalty area. And they've done that quite a few times, but they have not been able to beat those players yet. So a lot of credit definitely needs to go to those central players that have kept us in this game.
I think Ndidi for me was the man of the match for, I don't know, or Brighton. He made one key pass beginning of the first half. He did that amazing turn and basically went past two Man City players to keep us up like on top of the in their half in the end of the first half. Well, Brighton's got a shout out for man of the match so far. So is Ndidi, so's Soyuncu, so's Vestergaard, so Schmeichel. Those are the 5 players for me are potential man of the matches. Well, first half man of the matches for me.
Completely agreed. I'm going to, on that note, bring up Lillian Rama's comment about the first half and Harvey Barnes. I think our wing play has been very, very good. We have seen Harvey Barnes make some excellent runs. I think he had 2 high quality chances that just unfortunately, it's one of those things where it's a lottery, and if the pass falls to your foot, well, it's a goal. If the pass doesn't, it bounces off and goes to the keeper, and unfortunately that happened both times to him. But Barnes has been quality. We've seen his pace really causing some trouble to Manchester City. And on top of that as well, I think equal credit needs to be given to Mark Albrighton. Where Harvey Barnes has been doing very well to get the ball and then run into the area, Mark Albrighton has been that sort of behind-the-scenes sort of puppet master that has been taking the ball and playing it with those through balls to Madison, to to Vardy, to Barnes. And, for all those people who are saying that he shouldn't have started, I think he's really put on a masterclass for us so far.
Yeah,
just like Michael is saying, playing with aggression and swag. I think there is no fear at the moment. And that's one of the things that we might have been a little bit afraid against West Ham. Leo Reeve, I did put the link in the chat. Please send another message. If you scroll up and you don't see it, let me know and I will post it again. But yeah, I think just like we were saying, where there's no one player that you could point out and call bad in the last few games, and it was just poor as a team. I think what we've been seeing recently out of Leicester City is the fact that there's no one player that you can say has been like the shining light for the team. Everyone has just been good.
Yeah, I agree. I think everyone's put in a performance. Everyone's, every once say one player today has not, worked hard. Every player has put their foot on the line, especially Tielemans, which should have been reviewed for a red card. I think that's the next topic. I think the VAR should be mentioned because they made the first one was the issue with the waffles of Barnes going down in the box when Ederson got his lip cut open. The second one was the foot onto Tielemans, which should have been definitely looked at for a red card. And the third one, which was the push or potential shirt pull on Vestergaard as well. I think those three for me were very three decisions which should have not gone Leicester's way, but definitely should have been reviewed more, because I don't think it was very fair not to review it.
For sure. All right, Leo has just joined us. So, Jono, I know you wanted a chance to step away for a little bit. So I'll let you go, and I'm going to bring Leo in. So, Leo, if you want to give me a quick thumbs up, I'll add you into the stream. Hey, how are you doing? Oh, can you not hear me? All right, hopefully, please try clicking in the link again, and hopefully we'll be able to jump back in. But yes, much like Jono was just commenting on, please get your thoughts in on some of those decisions that were coming in that first half. Would love to have a little bit of a discussion towards that. Kevin Robinson, we're actually watching it through an official stream. So I myself am from Canada, and the official broadcaster of the Premier League in Canada is an online streamer. So that's how we're watching the game. Fee, honestly, I could really agree with that. It's a really scrappy game at the moment, much like the match between Leicester and Manchester was in the Community Shield. We have a lot of voices behind us in the crowd. You know, we've been watching the game on mute, so we can't hear the crowd, but I'm sure they're giving them a lot of noise, getting the songs in very well. So hopefully we're going to be able to see maybe a quick scrappy goal come through, or even a penalty. I've seen a lot of topics around this come in, the fact that there's sort of a tax on English players, and we'll come back to that. Leo's just joining back in. So Leo, if you want to give me can you hear me all right? If you can, just give me a thumbs up beside your eyes, and I'll bring you on stream. Give it a shot. Leo, can you hear me at all? Can you hear me? No, unfortunately, your audio still isn't working. So I think hop out for a second. Just double check on your computer, like where your audio is coming from. And hopefully we'll be able to get you on stream. But yes, so sorry. So we were just talking about English players. I think part of that comes from the fact of the homegrown rule. And you honestly see this in a lot of leagues. Like, there's going to be a premium for German players in the Bundesliga. There's going to be a premium for quality French players in Liga. There's going to be a quality for premium American and Canadian players in the MLS. Any one of those leagues that has a rule that you have to have a certain number of players from the country in which the league is based, you're going to want to make sure that you're not holding those players just for those players' sake. Like, you don't want to have an English player just because he's English. You're going to want him to be quality as well. And I think what that ends up leading to is that every quality English player ends up carrying a premium price tag. Your James Madisons, your Jack Grealishes. Leo, I'm seeing you're back. Can you hear me at all? Just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Awesome. All right. Good to have you on.
Sorry.
No worries. No worries. Good to have you on. So how did you make up of that first half? Just give me some of your baseline thoughts.
I think it's what we thought was going to happen, that they're going to have most of the possession. I think it's good. That we are just getting on them on the counter attack. Obviously, it's the way I think we're going to win. Obviously, it's a bit worrying, I think, for the second half with the potential guys they could bring on. But, if we can hold them off and then get them on the counter attack and actually, convert, we'll win. So we're certainly in the game.
I'm totally inclined to agree with you on that. That there's a lot of depth in Manchester City as well, but
yeah.
I don't think we can discount the fact that we have a lot of depth that we've built up. And I could see, especially if this game starts getting scrappy, that might be a moment for Lookman to come on for Albright, and perhaps Daka could come on for Madison or Vardy if we start to see one of them getting a little bit tired. But
yeah,
I think
I think Madison needs to come off. He just, I don't get why he's even starting. He just doesn't get involved at all at the moment.
It's fair. He has been a little bit lackluster over the last few games. Again, I don't like to talk too negatively about him. Mm-hmm. I think part of it might be the fact that we just haven't been able to play the ball up through the middle as much. A lot of our attacking play has been up through the wings, which has been putting a lot of pressure on Albrighton and Barnes, and it just hasn't been leaving a lot of play for Madison. Now, perhaps that does mean that he should be running and getting into space more. He should be up there with Vardy to be that player who you can play up to. And I think that's a very fair criticism of him. But I don't know if he's so much been a spectator on his own accord or just unfortunately because he hasn't been getting the ball played to him.
Yeah, well, I do notice that he does drift over more to the left than to the right. And particularly today, I think we're going up more on the right side than we are on the left side.
Just seeing two contrasting comments, that's just a way to sort of see the way that people are saying, you know, Madison is magic and you can't take him off because it could happen for him anytime.
Absolutely.
He needs dropping and possibly to give Dewsbury Hall or Nacho a run in. So one thing that I would ask you is if you think it's a sign that Madison should come off a little bit, who would you bring on? Would you bring on Daka? Would you bring on Nacho? Would you bring on Dewsbury Hall?
I'd probably bring on Daka. I don't know if it's better to bring for Madison to bring Daka on. I don't know if it's better for Vardy or Madison to come off, but I want Daka to come on because if we're going to counter attack, he's certainly probably the guy looking to lead the line. But,
that's a fair commentary because you know what, he is one of those players that really brings in some exciting pace.
Do you reckon he could go on the front too?
You know what? I was talking about that earlier. So when I put together the lineup graphics, I usually go off of what I can see from like newspapers predicting lineups, and the predictions that I saw called out a 4-4-2 lineup. I can put the lineup graphic that I made back up. Just ignore the fact that Bertrand is Pereira there. I would love to see us go for two up front because I think if we get two people in there, that still leaves those wing players open, and it's not like we were making use of that number 9 space to begin with. We weren't really playing that ball up at the edge of the penalty area in the center. All of our plays were coming in through crosses. So to get that second player into the area, I think could be key for us to unlock Manchester City in a way. And whether that second player in the area is Madison and he stays on, or Daka or Dewsbury Hall, I would be fine to see either way.
Yeah, I'm with you. The second half's starting now, so...
Yep, players are just coming back up onto the field. So thank you so much for joining us for halftime. I'll let you go.
Sorry about the IT.
No worries at all. If you get the chance, please join us at full time as well. We'd love to get your views at full time. Take care.
Cheers.
All right. So Jono is out for just a little bit, so you're going to be getting some solo commentary. But I'll tell you what, happy to have you as a Manchester City fan joining us. Feel free to give us your views as well. How have you been feeling about your team? I know you can give us a little bit more insight into your squad than we can. Have there been some players that have been impressing you, players that have been underperforming? I think we've been seeing a lot of reliance from Manchester City on Jack Grealish. And while he's certainly been trying very hard, he's been industrious, he's been attempting, I don't think we've been seeing that final quality product that Manchester City would need from him. So, you know, I don't think anybody has really put in a poor performance on either team. I think it's been 7s and 8s all rounds on both squads. But yeah, if you think that there's a position that Man City should be working on, please let us know. Both squads are back out on the field, and the second half has kicked off. Leicester City with the kickoff. Does not appear as though any substitutions have been made by either side. So both teams are going in with the same squads that they had for the first half. So yes, with that, it has been a good game so far. I would say for both teams, I think either team really could think that they deserved a goal. And then, yep, I'm not ready to start saying that Madison is not a good player either. But that said, we would definitely hope to see him be a little bit more involved. Maybe we are going to move to a front two instead. So as it stands, Manchester City currently just doing a little bit of back and forth in the middle third. However, that ball has gone out for a Leicester City throw-in. So as it stands, we are 46 minutes in. Play is a little bit more calm, but obviously we're only into that first minute. So right now, Bertrand has the ball on the left wing, plays the ball through to Barnes. Barnes is marked by 3 players, yet does well to hold the ball and play the ball through to Vestergaard. Plays a little bit quiet at the moment, so I'm just going to pull up George Forty's comment here. What do you make of our new training facility, camp, and our new stand, and what else could be the future of the squad? Ball is played back to Schmeichel just before I answer that. Schmeichel lines up to play a goal kick, and it lines up well on the wing. And, Castagna gets knocked down, but no free kick is given. But Leicester City are still moving forward. Ball's with Vardy on the wing. He plays it through, finds Barnes. Barnes with the header off the crossbar. Very, very, very close for Harvey Barnes there. He was in acres of space. An excellent run by everybody involved there. Jono, I'm seeing you're back. If you want to give me a thumbs up, I'll add you back into the stream. What a play. That is the closest either team has come to scoring yet. And it was just fabulously played. Castagna gets knocked down, and Vardy immediately comes into his place. Point perfect cross. And just unfortunately, Barnes can only find the crossbar. But so well done. Just going to take a quick moment to set up Jono's and my sharing so that we can both commentate on the game. There we are. Just going to set everything up, and we are good to go. Awesome. So with that, play has now settled back into the middle third. Manchester City have the ball, and their whole squad is pretty high pressing at the moment. Joao Cancelo tries to find Ferran Torres up front, and he plays across and is into Schmeichel's hands. So while plays a little bit quieter, Jono, it's nice to have you in that we can both talk about this a little bit. Sort of the future of the club. I think from my perspective, I love to see it because as an international fan, I think things like this are really just sort of taking the money that's coming into Leicester City, both from our good performances in the league and cup competitions, as well as the money that's coming in from that are coming in from the Srivardhanaprabha family and from King Power. And we're investing it into the future of the club instead of just sort of a flash in the pan, like we've seen from some big investing clubs like your Blackburns and your Blackpools in the past. Vardy is in on a through ball. He is double marked. He gets around Ederson, plays the ball. Goal!
Yes, get in! I can't see the stream, but still.
Beautiful.
I can't see the stream.
Stayed down, and there is a lovely little cheeky from the linesman.
Discord.
Oh, are you not seeing the? I shared it through for you on Discord. Are you not seeing it? Oh, my apologies. Let me try to share that again. Let me know if there's just a little bit of technical difficulties. But I am just going to quickly commentate while I share this. It was a beautiful, beautiful through ball that finds Jamie Vardy. Although the score has stayed 0-0, so it looks as though he might have been offside. Yes, that goal has been called off, unfortunately.
For fuck's sake.
Jono, let me know if you can see the game on Discord now. I've got the screen share back up. It was a very tight offside, but unfortunately that has been called off and it remains 0-0. But very positive from Leicester City in the second half here, in the first part of the second half, as both the crossbar is hit and a goal is called off for offside. But very, very positive.
I can't see him. I have to get into something else up. 1 sec.
All right. John, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to hang up the Discord call, and I'm going to call you again and then start the screen share over.
Yeah.
Apologies for these discussions ongoing. We're just...
technical issues.
Exactly. Just making sure that we're both able to... I share my screen with Jono over Discord so that we can both commentate at the exact same time. So let me know if you're seeing the game now.
Yeah, got it.
Perfect. Awesome. So in that case, we are now in the 50th minute. I believe that was a free kick for Leicester City in our defensive third, and we now currently have it. But yes, just to quickly recap there, unfortunately, as we ran into some technical difficulties, Jamie Vardy was played in on what we had thought was a beautiful through ball, but unfortunately he was marginally offside, and the goal has been called off. So it does remain 0-0, although Leicester City have been pushing very tightly, and there have been definitely more quality chances from the Foxes in this second half than we've seen for Manchester City. Ball is currently back with Kasper Schmeichel, just being played back and forth. Quick double check of the other scores around the leagues, and all other scores have remained as they are at halftime. So 0-0s all around except for 1-0 for Manchester United against Newcastle.
Of course, it just had to be him, didn't it? It just had to be him.
You could only imagine the noise that would have gone off at Old Trafford when he scored.
I'm gonna watch the replay and watch him score because the noise must have been
lofted through ball, finds Ferran Torres, gets chased down by Sayuncu, who blocks it with an excellent tackle. He gets a pat on the back from Kasper Schmeichel, and that is out for a corner kick to Manchester City. A very spontaneous play. Oh, the replay just shows that it wasn't even a block. So Sayuncu just sticks the toe out and gets the ball before Ferran Torres can even begin to get there. He might have been a hair offside to begin with, but either way, it doesn't matter as the ball goes out for the corner kick. Looks as though Gundogan is going to play it in. Doesn't find a player's head. A little bit of a scramble of feet as the ball is then chased down by Jack Grealish in the middle third. He will try to get some momentum going, makes a run up the wing, but the ball is played to Gabriel Jesus. Jesus tries to play in towards the center, gets around a couple players. Ball is played to Kyle Walker. Walker finds Jesus. Jesus finds Joao Cancelo, I believe that is.
Is it just me, or does every decision going towards Man City so far, like the offside, the decision, like the potential penalty calls, the tackles, it's not even going Leicester's way. It seems like it's a Man City flow.
Yeah, I don't like to accuse referees of bias, but it does seem as though it's just we've been having some terrible luck with the decisions. Grealish is holding the ball on the wing just outside the corner of the area. Finds Walker, who tries to play the ball in, but he will only find Kasper Schmeichel with a cross like that. Gray, nice to see you tuning in. Hopefully we'll be able to hear from you at full time as well. And Fee, always great to see the positivity from North London. All right, so Ndidi is playing the ball. Very high press for Manchester City. Proves successful. Ball is with Gundogan. Tries to play a through ball. Finds Gabriel Jesus, but Jesus tackled by Vestergaard. Twice by Vestergaard, who then holds the ball, and Leicester will play the ball out. It is with Ndidi. Ndidi plays around Gundogan, plays the ball into the middle to Maddison. Maddison tries to find Albrighton on the wing, but his pass is just overcooked. That's unfortunate for Maddison there. But some positive play out the back there. Man City seem to have gotten settled back into this second half with a couple very positive plays from them as well. Ball now with Gundogan. Plays a through ball, does find him. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so that was a ball to Ferran Torres. It was a very well-played ground through ball. Ferran Torres just plays the ball wide of the net. Nothing can really be said there. There wasn't much credit to Leicester City there. It was just poor play by Torres on the finish. Cannot find the back of the net. I think Schmeichel might have had that covered if it was on target, provided it wasn't curving. But, yeah, at the end, fires the ball maybe a foot and a half wide of the net. Ball Gray coming in from Siston. Always nice to see people tuning in from different places. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. You continue.
Oh, I was just going to say it's great to see people tuning in from different places. Always great to share Leicester City with the world.
Do you think it's time to make a change regarding the fact not no one's played poorly, but the fact that we don't want man's like we've been on the front foot until this point in the second half? Do you think we should make a change just so we keep on things fresh, or do you think we should? Is teams be working at the moment to keep it, or what do you think?
I'm going to say 60th minute double change. Lookman for Albrighton and Daka for Maddison.
I think that would be brilliant changes. I think that'd be very positive. If we bring on a defender, for me, that'd be very negative because that will just show Man City, they just want the draw. They don't.
Exactly. Just to quickly comment on their long cross played in that did get by Vestergaard. Gundogan meets it with his head, but Vestergaard had him marked in a way that he could not get a quality header on that. Just goes off the top of his head and up high, wide over the net.
I think Vestergaard put him off there. Vestergaard didn't give him a good visibility. He was just flying there, Gundogan. So, again, Vestergaard, very good.
Rebo, just going to quickly offer you up. So we are currently 5 seconds from the 56th minute. So we are just coming up to the 56th minute mark. But yeah, so you were just commenting on substitutions. In that case, if you were Brendan, you want to make a 60th minute change, who are you bringing off? Who are you bringing on?
I'll bring off Maddison or Brighton. Or Brighton because I don't want him to get too fatigued. I don't want him to get too tired. And Maddison because Daka would offer more pace. Maybe Iheanacho, Iheanacho and Vardy. Vardy and Maddison come off, and Daka and Iheanacho come on. That could be a good positive change. 2 forwards.
Do you think that could end up bringing us to a more of a 4-3-3 formation in that case? Because those are all rather central strikers that you're talking about.
Maybe we just sacrifice a midfielder. I don't know, but I think we shouldn't let off the pressure. If we keep it off the pressure, it gives Man City more of a chance to get at us. We don't want to be negative. We need to be positive, but also we don't want to be too positive because then the Man City will get the chance to counter. So it's fine balance at the moment. What is the right option to go for? If we do make a change, what's the right option? Would you make it to attacking or defensive? I don't know.
Honestly, I think the current lineup is working pretty well. So I think if we were to bring forwards on, it might be for those players who can play more versatilely as wingers, like your Lookman. Daka, I believe, did play as winger from time to time for Salzburg as well. So
maybe
it's just
Barnes.
Sorry,
you might go for Barnes then.
It is possible, true, because I guess for his footedness, he would work better on that side. Manchester City currently have the ball in the area. Yannick Vestergaard has been a brick wall. He just stops that pass from coming through. Jack Grealish, if he thinks he's, to quote the Chef United way here, if he thinks he's scoring from there, he's reading comments. High, wide, and not very handsome. Gonna double check this here. Newcastle United have equalized at Old Trafford. Gonna quickly double check who's scored for them. Javier Manquillo in the 56th minute has leveled the score for Newcastle United. So a little bit of rain on Ronaldo's parade there. All other games I can provide updates are all still at 0-0.
This could be the worst fantasy week ever.
I hope you triple captained your goalkeepers today.
I captained Ronaldo, and luckily I did because he scored, but great tackle from Tielemans there. But unfortunately, I love it how Brighton's still at him, like not giving him any breathing space, not making him make any decision, like long time to make decisions. So he's still going strong for me.
Exactly. Like we love to talk about it, Albrighton's industriousness, and you're really starting to see it there. Lovely curving ball finds Grealish on the wing. He's up against Castagna and will make his pass to, I think that's Bernardo, although that ball will not find anybody and it falls to Kasper Schmeichel. I do get this question a lot. Just to quickly say to Gobbleneck82, I'm Canadian. So I sound like I'm American because I'm North American, but I'm north of there. I'm from Canada.
And just FYI, that was Ndidi who blocked that pass. So Ndidi again making a brilliant interception.
This might well be our defensive showing of the season so far, even including the Community Shield.
Well,
if this holds. Let's not jinx anything, if this holds. Albrighton finds Barnes on a nice through ball. He can't get him behind the defenders, but Barnes tries to find Vardy in the middle. Unfortunately, can't. Ryan Bertrand is currently the furthest forward player on the pitch. And Man City will clear. And then Yannick Vestergaard comes up into the front third, plays the ball into Barnes, so unfortunately receives a push on the back that forces the ball out for a Manchester City throw-in. Also just to answer this, as we've been saying, so as a Canadian, I'm actually watching through the official Canadian broadcaster, which is a live streaming service. I don't know if this game is being broadcasted anywhere in Canada or in the United Kingdom, unfortunately, but we're watching it through my devices in Canada.
Just to say, we've got Vestergaard has been subbed off and getting a standard ovation from most fans. He's been, for me, outstanding. He's been a brick wall. He's been one of the top 3 players today, so well deserved, and everyone's just coming on for him. So
okay, because I was about to say, a very deserved standing ovation. I'm shocked that he is the center back coming off. Because he has been possibly our best defender on this game so far, and his towering presence has been one of the things that has really muted Manchester City. Now, Johnny Evans, one of my favorite Leicester City players. Glad to see him on the pitch. But he's not as big as Yannick Vestergaard, so will remain to be seen that he can pressure as well, although he almost gets his first touch there. Callum Hand, we've been talking about this a little bit. A lot of hairline decisions have been going Man City's way, and the ball falls to Gundogan on the outside of the area. Ferran Torres plays the ball back and forth. Johnny Evans with the block, falls again to Gundogan, finds Gabriel Jesus, who slips, ball falls to Evans, who will play the ball back out. A little bit of chaos in the penalty area there, but we do hold on, and some nice controlling play by Evans, who is now shouting to rally the troops as the ball is now with Ruben Diaz. Diaz tries to play the ball across, finds Grealish on the outside of the area. He is under pressure from Castagna. Castagna pressures, forces him to play the ball out. Shot by Bernardo. And that is a goal for Manchester City.
Was it offside?
That is Bernardo Silva. The scoreboard has not yet been updated. It is now saying 1-0. He is running to the visiting fans to celebrate at the corner flag. This might be reviewed for offside, but unfortunately just a lot of clattering around the back in the penalty area. And Manchester City do get the ball in as a result. Might be the time to bring on some offensive changes. We're just seeing the replay of this now. So the ball with Grealish. We are now going to get to see if this may have been offside. No, he was onside, unfortunately, by both Soyuncu and Evans. And unfortunately, it was just the way that the ball bounced off of different players. And yeah, it's a result of all the pressure that was coming in, and the score line now needs to be updated to Leicester City 0, Manchester City 1. However, this game is not over yet. It's in the 62nd minute at the moment. There is still time for us to pull this back. Manchester City bringing on Raheem Sterling, it looks like. So that will most likely be for, let me just check their lineup. It's for Ferran Torres. So they're going to be playing Raheem Sterling in center forward position. Game has already kicked back off, and Leicester City trying to come forwards. Ball with Albrighton, cleared by Aymeric Laporte. Brendan Rodgers sitting on the bench right now. A lot of notes being taken by his assistants around him. Wouldn't surprise me if we end up seeing a substitution coming soon. You know, I don't think we've been giving the ball away at the back too much. A lot of it has been through play that they've been making. I think Man City have been very slightly the better team, and they have dominated possession, which has definitely given them more chances. But I think that was just more or less unfortunate. It just was a result of the way that the ball bounced. It fell very, very fortunately to Bernardo Silva.
But what this does
Manchester
is give me lots of confidence, because we've been playing really well. We've been like, we've given Man City a game, you know, it's not like, you know, they've been on top, we've been dominated. We've not been dominated. Yes, Man City have had a lot of shots, but we've capitalized on them, and we've defended really well, and, you know, counter-attack really well. As I said, this game's not over. We've got some brilliant players to bring on, and hopefully we can bring back for a draw.
Grealish having some back and forth with Bernardo on the outside of the area. The ball will bounce off of, that looks like it went off Soyuncu for a Manchester City corner. And I think another part of it is the fact that, like, we've been welcoming a lot of the pressure from Manchester City, because that is part of what gives us the opportunity to counterattack. A lot of fans are currently unified in applause at the moment, but that does look like the Man City supporters that are giving their team some song as Gundogan places the ball to take the corner. Also, just a quick update. Ronaldo has scored again, and it is now 2-1. 1-0 Manchester City, all other game. And Arsenal currently 1-0 up against Norwich in that 6-pointer. Jack Grealish on the outside of the penalty area plays the ball to Gabriel Jesus, play has been called off, most likely for an offside there, I would assume. But yes, just a quick check of the other scores during that stoppage in play. Brentford, Brighton, Southampton, West Ham, and Watford Wolves all 0-0. Arsenal 1-0 up against Norwich City at the moment. A 66th minute goal from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Soyuncu holds the ball in the Leicester City defensive third. Still a high press being played by Manchester City, despite being a goal to the good. Tries to play a through ball to find Albrighton, but that will only find Joao Cancelo, who will play the ball out for a throw. Throw-in is taken backwards, falls to Soyuncu, who can only play the ball backwards himself to Evans. And just ball is back into Leicester City's defensive third. This is one of the things that does frustrate me a little bit with Leicester, is that a lot of the time when we get something like a throw-in in the offensive third, we end up playing the ball backwards. And all that ends up doing to me is just spending more time that we really should be using trying to get back into the match.
I think
Tielemans gets knocked down, and it's a free kick near the halfway line, and Jack Grealish is not happy with that foul being called. Free kick is taken quickly, falls to Madison, who is forced to play it back to Evans.
Oh, I think Daka's coming on.
Could be. Are you seeing? Oh, yeah, there is somebody lining up on. There's two players lining up in the Leicester City technical area. Unfortunately, they are still both wearing their pennies, so it's hard to see what numbers they are. Ndidi wins the ball in the midfield and passes the ball back to Evans. But again, a very, very, very high press being played by Manchester City at the moment. Cerebo, yes, that is two Leicester City players, I believe, warming up on the sideline. Maxwell, I'm seeing that you've just joined in. Please click the link at the end of the match. During the watch along, it is just going to be Jono and myself just to provide commentary as quickly as possible. But please join us at full time for the discussion. Very pedestrian play at the moment as Man City are just passing the ball around their back four. Plays up to Gabriel Jesus in the midfield, who then plays it back to Kyle Walker. What do you think the score is going to be? So at the start of the game, I did predict a 1-1. I'm going to hold on to that and hope that we might be able to pull something back in the end of the game towards maybe like the 80th minute. As it stands, 68th minute, as Gabriel Jesus plays a cross in that will find Raheem Sterling in the area, but it is too hard a pass and he can't control it. And the ball is now back up in Manchester City's possession. Win probability currently being shown on screen, 82% likely that Manchester City will win, 3% for Leicester City, 15% for a draw. Jesus finds Raheem Sterling, who will play the ball back into the area, but will only find Wilfred Ndidi. Ndidi plays the ball to Bertrand. Bertrand finds Vardy, but Vardy has nobody who he can head the ball to, and that ball will be played back to Ederson. Callum Hand, we did see a couple Leicester City players lining up or warming up on the sideline. They do appear, they aren't there anymore, so it is possible that that substitution is being delayed slightly. We will keep you posted if we see anybody that might be coming on. Jason Mills, I think part of it might just be that it's very hard to unseat Vardy as a starting player in the Leicester City lineup. So I think why he hasn't gotten brought on more as a substitute is a very valid question, but I think that might just be why we're not seeing him so much in the starting 11. Albrighton cannot find Castagna with a through ball, but very nearly does. The ball is now with Cancelo, who plays the ball to, I believe, Torres in the midfield. Grealish trying to make a run, but unfortunately has to slow himself down to not be offside. But it looks as though he was offside anyways, and that was Cancelo actually making the run. We have just hit the 70th minute to answer your question, so there are 20 minutes left in this game. Sterling with the ball. Still has the ball, plays a cross in, but Soyuncu meets it with his head, as does Evans, who will play the ball back to Kasper Schmeichel. No major score updates around the league for you as Leicester City hold the ball in the midfield. Madison tries to play a through ball, but just overcooks it a little bit, and Ederson will run his way out there. Harvey Barnes being well man-marked as he tried to run up to get to the ball to at least put some pressure on Ederson, but was just completely stopped in his run there.
I thought real downward was playing so well this game, and decisions haven't gone our way at all, and it's been
Ilkay Gundogan has the ball on the outside of the area, being given a little bit of space, plays the ball into Soyuncu, who makes the block with his chest, and Ndidi plays the ball out to Barnes. Barnes tries to find Madison, who gets absolutely floored, and Kyle Walker takes possession back Man City's way. He will try to just take the shot himself, and it will be deflected up and over the bar by Kasper Schmeichel for a Manchester City corner kick. Tom Wyatt, just to say, Man City have been dominating the match in terms of statistics. However, when it came to like quality chances and really the general balance of the game, it's actually been quite close. But unfortunately, a very lucky piece of play sees a bobbling ball after a couple blocks land right to the feet of Bernardo Silva, who takes the first goal for Man City, and that is the way that the game is sitting at the moment. Brendan might be waiting too long to take subs. I think that is fair as we hit the 70th minute. Wouldn't surprise me if we see a couple changes maybe at the 75th as Gundogan lines up to take this corner. He plays it in and cannot find the head of one of his players, but that does find Grealish on the outside of the area. He plays in, tries to find Aymeric Laporte, but looks as though there might have been a bit of tussle inside the area, and it is going to either be a free kick or possibly even a goal kick for Leicester City.
I think Brendan needs to make the subs now. Right, we need subs on now.
And he is. There are two players coming on.
Nacho.
Yes, indeed. So that means that Harvey Barnes is one of the players coming off, as they're just showing him, offering a small round of applause.
And that means
Yuri Tielemans, the second player that is coming off. So two changes that are being made. Madison is going to be staying on the field for the full 90. Oh, no, I stand corrected. He's coming off for... Oh, sorry. So Tielemans wasn't coming off the field. Tielemans was just taking a quick chat with Brendan Rodgers. That was my mistake. So in that case, it looks as though it's going to be Vardy and Nacho up front, and Lookman is going to be taking over for Barnes on that winger position. Does kind of surprise me that to see Mark Albrighton, who's going to be getting the full 90 minutes. So yes, just quickly answer that. So all three substitutions have been made for Leicester City. Johnny Evans came on for Yannick Vestergaard earlier, and just now Nacho and Lookman have come on for Madison and Barnes, respectively. Manchester City, I believe, have only made one change so far. They have brought off Ferran Torres to bring on Raheem Sterling. Looks as though Soyuncu might be getting booked here for a tackle that has left Jack Grealish on the ground. Grealish is currently holding his head. I'll need to see the replays here to find out exactly what happened there. But Grealish is down holding his face, having a conversation with the referee and Ilkay Gundogan, and Soyuncu is going into the book. All right, just seeing the replay here. Grealish breaks away from Castagna. Oh, and it's a collision between the two. Collision of feet first. Soyuncu didn't get the ball in all fairness. And just the way the bodies were set up, hand meets face. And a second Manchester City player has received a bloody lip. Grealish does seem fine to continue. Yeah, it just seems as though, unfortunately, an errantly placed hand has clipped Jack Grealish on the lip, but he's on his feet. He will be continuing this game. Doesn't need any medical attention. Looks as though it's going to be Cancelo or Bernardo or Gundogan to play it in. It is Bernardo. No, it is Gundogan. They faked and can only meet the head of Soyuncu. Albrighton plays a thundering through ball that will find Ademola Lookman. Lookman gets around Kyle Walker. Beats his challenge. Lookman has been found. A lovely save by Ederson, but that is the quality through ball play that we have been needing, and the Leicester City faithful are on their feet. My apologies. What I was calling out earlier is as Lookman having the ball, it was Nacho that had the ball and expertly played back past both Kyle Walker and I think it was the challenge of Aymeric Laporte, just left him on the floor. And then played a lovely through ball to Lookman, who nearly scores on his Leicester City debut. And it is a corner kick to Leicester in the 75th minute. Albrighton plays it in. Cannot find a Leicester City head. Evans plays it back across the area. Vardy with a header. Ball falls to Nacho, who holds the ball against Gundogan and gets knocked over. Appealing for a penalty kick, gets told to get up.
I think that was a corner, to be honest.
I thought that would have been a corner as well, unless maybe the ball caught Nacho's knee there. We're just seeing the replay here.
I'm sorry.
You know what? That looks like it might have been a trip by Gundogan. This might get reviewed.
Oh, knowing VAR, they won't review it. It's a goal kick.
Yeah, it's just a goal kick.
This has been poor from VAR. That's been a trip. That's been an ankle. There's been a two. That's the third penalty shot we've had. Third.
That was, I would say, the third dodgy decision that we've seen from the referee and from the VAR team. But
then he put his hand on his back, and no.
Ball currently with Bernardo on the wing. He's forced to play it backwards under pressure from Albrighton. Ball is forced to be played even further back. Laporte tries to find Bernardo and does. Tielemans plays the ball off of Cancelo. It looks as though there might have been an unintentional handball. Free kick to Leicester City. Like I said, I don't like to normally complain about the refs, but we've just been having no luck with the refereeing decisions this time around.
If that was Man City, that would have been a penalty. I'm just saying. If that was Grealish, that would have been a penalty. I'm just saying that would have been.
Ball with Gundogan now. He has Sterling, who he tries to play in, but Soyuncu plays very well to stop that pass from coming through. Ball is then played back upfield, finds Cancelo. Walker screaming for the ball, will not get it, as the ball is now with Grealish on the wing. Grealish plays across through, finds Sterling, and Johnny Evans sticks a leg out to make sure that Sterling does not get an opportunity to shoot, and that will be another corner kick for Manchester City. Just checking the stats there, that will be their 9th of the game.
He tried. No, he didn't. He tried to chip him. It's not a good corner. He tried to chip him, but it failed.
Oh, thank you for pointing that out. Yes, that was my mistake. I thought Evans got his foot to that, but no, that was an errant chip. So with that goal kick, ball is again played out short and currently sits with Çağlar Soyuncu, who plays back and forth with Iheanacho.
We at least deserve a draw because, like, all the decisions we've played really well. All the decisions have gone our no decisions have gone our way. It's just poor by the officials this game. I think we've played no worse than I think we've matched Man City in most departments apart from possession. But it's just I'm disappointed by the decisions that have been made.
Agreed. It's sometimes luck just doesn't go your way with the refereeing decisions, and I think by merit Leicester City have. I think by merit, Leicester City have deserved points from this game, but sometimes it just doesn't line up like that. As we get to the 80th minute mark, Johnny Evans is to take a free kick on the halfway line and plays it short to Soyuncu. Soyuncu then plays it back to Evans. Pressure is going to start mounting here for Leicester City, who really have to play the ball into the area and start scoring.
We play well.
Tell you what, there is a secret weapon that I might pull out in the 80th minute, as Ndidi now has the ball and is forced to play it backwards towards Johnny Evans.
It's funny that we play awful when we win and play good, and we go on.
But that said, Lookman very nearly controls the ball and almost gets the ball ahead of Ederson there, but Ederson just snatches I think I called that Lookman again. I keep getting jumbled up between the numbers because I'm not used to Lookman's 37, but that was Nacho again. My apologies for continually calling that wrong, but Nacho nearly gets the ball and gets an opportunity to shoot, but just can't get his foot there before Ederson dives down and gets his hands to it. Because Nacho is number 14, which he was last season again. I just unfortunately for some reason, I keep seeing 37 when I'm reading 14.
I think it's funny that also the FA decided, you actually can play your players today. You can play Ederson and Gabriel Jesus, so that's fine. Even though COVID restrictions don't allow it, it's fine.
But that said, if we deserve to get points from Man City, we need to be able to get them from them at full strength.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that's an excuse at all, but what I'm saying is that every authority official, like from the FA and from the VAR and the referee, no decision has gone in the benefit of Leicester City. It's all been like Man City can play their best players. Man City, the VAR don't look at all the decisions that could, like that ankle, like he went straight into his ankle, studs up, and if that Perez went red carded for that, and they reviewed it in great detail, but you know.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate that just some things that I would have expected to see VAR reviews for, we just haven't. Through ball tries to find Vardy, but will not, and it is played back towards Ederson. I'm going to quickly hop off stream for a quick second, just to make a quick change, but I will be back on in just a moment.
So just currently playing from the back, Sunchu's just currently got the ball. Trying to push forward, pushing forward, trying to keep it the ball in play. Pass it to Lookman. Currently trying to press forwards. Just pass the ball around to Ndidi. Just passing the ball around. Goes to Bertrand. Back to Lookman. Leicester in possession, which passing around the back, just trying to find a way back and through their defense, through Man City players. And Man City have pushed us back, and we're forced to make Johnny Evans make a big pass. But we're going forwards. In actual trying to get the ball. Vardy's got the ball at the edge of the box. Tries to make forwards, but couldn't get through. So passed it to the wing. Elijah. Cross in. Cross in.
Nacho nearly.
Oh, Nacho wide header.
Final 10 minutes. Time for the lucky kit. The change has been made.
Change has been made.
Now, granted, I haven't actually changed. I still have the FBS shirt on underneath, but this will do.
Hang on. Keep me on the stream 1 second.
Yep. I'll take your camera. Oh. Looks like Jono's going to be grabbing the pink kit. And there we are. If we score now and we equalize this game as Jesus comes off for Fernandinho, if we level this game out, we are only allowed to do watch-alongs together in these kits.
Yeah.
Ball is currently back, and Vardy slips, unfortunately, and is unable to therefore put pressure on Ruben Dias, as the ball is currently just being held by Man City's defense. And now they're willing to slow play down. They just want to sort of burn through these last 6-7 minutes.
If they win this, it's purely not by them outclassing us. It's purely a lucky deflection off Schmeichel and some bad decisions for VAR for me. I said from the beginning, we'll lose 3-1. And as long as Leicester play really well, I'm happy. I'm disappointed now because we played excellent, and Man City, and it's only by poor decisions for me. I think we might lose. Yes, Man City have had a lot of shots and a lot of chances, but we've defended really well, and we deserve a point from this game, at least a point.
Yeah, I think it's, again, just unfortunate, and sometimes you don't get what you deserve in football. But I think there's a lot of positives to take away from this game as we do begin to move forward. Albrighton now has the ball on the wing. Man City are trying to get their numbers backwards. Albrighton tries to play back into the center, is unfortunately forced to play the ball backwards, and the ball is now with Ndidi. Ndidi finds Tielemans. Tielemans tries to play through. Lookman breaks through. Lookman shoots. Oh! I think that was blocked. Oh, that was so close.
Lookman for me has been excellent since he's come on. We've looked so much more threatening.
Absolutely. He just gets in, stops Ruben Dias from being able to play his clearance out, and not only that, plays the momentum of the ball to then get by him. Ruben Dias can only throw his legs out and hope that he blocks the shot, which he does. He gets lucky there. And it's a Leicester City corner that gets played in, and Ederson will grab, hold, and fall to the ground. And that will be the pressure off for the time being. But some very good play from Ademola Lookman off the top. I think we can possibly expect to see him start more often.
I think he's been exceptional.
I do normally call it soccer. I do my best to sort of check myself and say football on stream. I've been trying to pick up more of the British vocabulary for the British audience.
It is, because it's good. It's not called soccer, it's called football. You're saying it correctly.
How many minutes left? So we are just coming up to the 86th minute. So there will be 4 minutes plus injury time. But given the fact that the goal was scored in the second half, I think we could expect 3, maybe 4 minutes of injury time.
Well, you got the Grealish injury, you had the goal, so I can see 3 or 4 minutes easily.
Oh, unfortunately, Nacho overcooks his pass to Lookman there. Nearly a chance to get another good run up the wing, but again, one of the other things we're seeing here is Foxes never quit. Even though we're in the late stages here and we've been fighting the world, it seems, in this match, we're still making quality chances. Ndidi plays the ball back towards Soyuncu. Back to Ndidi, up to Tielemans. Tielemans plays the ball back to Evans. Currently just looking to find some spaces, forced to play the ball back to Schmeichel. Schmeichel up to Soyuncu. Our left and right backs are playing very far forwards at the moment, so it is just Soyuncu, Evans, and Schmeichel back at the moment. Bertrand currently playing as far up as Tielemans at the moment. Nacho is in the game. He was brought on for James Madison. Ademola Lookman making another nice run. Unfortunately gets double marked and loses the ball there. Now Man City try to attack. The ball is with Sterling on the wing. Sterling is up against Bertrand. Falls down but maintains possession.
Yeah, that's a yellow. I think that might be a yellow card to Bertrand. He blocked him off.
I think I might have said that was Bertrand. It might actually be Tielemans. I just wasn't expecting to see him playing as a left back. I don't think there will be any bookings, but it does look like that will be a free kick. Another thing that we have been seeing a lot here is that there's been a lot of liquidity in the positions. Like we've been seeing Soyuncu as a winger briefly. We've been seeing Vestergaard hovering around the penalty area. Tielemans falling back, playing as a central defender, as a left back there. It's a lot of players have been playing a lot of roles. Gundogan is going to take his sweet time with this free kick. Just try to soak up a little bit more of the time. And again, just try to ensure that Man City can take all 3 points. A very positive start from Lookman, though. We'll definitely talk about this at full time.
Yeah.
Gundogan plays the cross in. Cannot find anyone. It is headed out by Castagna. Some nice rebounds. See the ball fall to Albrighton. Albrighton chased down by Grealish. Gets knocked over and no free kick. So Manchester City regain possession. Ball with Bernardo up against Evans. Plays the ball out wide. That's most likely Grealish. Yes, it is Grealish who's up against Castagna. Plays the ball back towards Rodri. Rodri plays the ball back to, I think that was Cancelo. Ball now with Walker in central defense. Being pressured by Lookman, forced to play the ball back to Ederson. Vardy and Lookman playing quite high up the pitch at the moment. Very high ball, cannot be controlled by Walker, and it is out for a Leicester City throw, and this will be taken quickly by Bertrand. Plays the ball backwards towards Evans.
Well played by Evans.
Very well played by Evans. Evans, unfortunately, cooks the pass a little bit too hard to Lookman. Ball now with Gundogan. Manchester City breaking forward in numbers. Ball falls to Grealish, who's up against Castagna. Castagna forces him to turn around. He's going to run in towards the corner, and the ball is out. That's got to be a goal kick. And it looks like it is.
Come on, Leicester. One more counter. Come on. We can get a draw.
Susie Suarez, definitely. The scoreline is not indicative of how the game has gone. I think this game could easily be a draw. And we've seen much, much better from Leicester than we have in any of the last games, including the ones that we've won.
Yeah, I think this is the best performance of this season so far. Even though we might lose this, it's I think we are going to lose this now. I think
3 minutes at a time. Just to cut you off there for a quick second, as Man City come forward on the attack. Sterling will find Fernandinho, who will miss. But honestly, that should have been 2-0. It was 4 or 5 against 3, as unfortunately just a pass by Evans was not recognized by Tielemans there. Just a breakdown in communication, and the interception led to a very quick break by Manchester City. But we get off there as 0 touches by the Leicester City players there. Schmeichel might have had that covered if that was on target, but just curves his shot wide of the net. Nacho can't maintain possession as we are almost done the first of the 3 minutes of injury time. Ball is back with Johnny Evans, who will play a header up, finds Lookman. Lookman has also been all over the pitch today. playing like 4 or 5 different positions. He has been very industrious.
Got possession. Go on, Stuart. You whack up the pitch.
Tries to whack it up the pitch towards Albright and will not find him. But Lookman very nearly chases down Walker, then given pressure by Iheanacho, then by Albrighton, who does knock the ball clear of him. Ball falls to Soyuncu. There is 1.5 minutes left in this game. Schmeichel hoofs the ball upfield. That will only find a defender, but then controlled by Castagna, who gets shoved to the ground. No free kick given.
Oh, referee.
And then that is a through ball to Grealish. It is 2 against 1. Schmeichel forced out of the net. He stops the pass with the foot. Very well played by Kasper Schmeichel there to keep it from becoming 2-0. Finally, another attack coming forward as we almost enter into the last minute. Nacho, under pressure, finds Albrighton. Albrighton still trying to push up further up the field. Will get tackled, and that is out for a throw-in. We'll talk about things like this at full time for sure. As the ball is dribbling upfield, it will not find a Leicester City player there, unfortunately. Soyuncu up against Gundogan does not win the header, but does win control against Bernardo, who then goes flying in 2-footed into the back of Çağlar Soyuncu's leg. If that is not a booking, I will be stunned. No booking, just a talking to. That might be the most shocking decision I've seen, including the ankle stamp of the entire game, is the fact that there was no booking for that. He jumped and went with 2 legs into the back of Soyuncu's leg. No foul, or sorry, a foul given, no card. Every Leicester City player is now in the front third. Kasper Schmeichel hoofs the ball up, and it will not find any Leicester City player. Bertrand tries to chase it down. That looks like Sterling, who is holding the ball, punts the ball back up the pitch. It is out for a throw-in. We are now over the 3 minutes, so this is surely the last play of the match. Ball falls to Tielemans. Tielemans hoofs the ball upfield. He finds Vardy, who just unfortunately can't control it, and the ball is out of play for a Manchester City goal kick. And that is full time. Leicester City 0, Manchester City 1. But all things considered, I think we have to say that was still a very positive match from Leicester City there. I think we're very unlucky to not get a point. Credit should be given to Manchester City for playing a good game still. They got very lucky. I believe that goal was scored by Bernardo Silva. I'm just going to double check that. Then I will also give a final rundown of all the score. Yes, so Bernardo Silva scores the goal that wins the game for Manchester City. Before I put the link in, I'm just going to also provide a quick update on the other scores of the day. So starting off with the match that kicked off earliest, Crystal Palace 3, Tottenham Hotspur 0. And then for all of the 2 o'clock kickoffs, Watford 0, Wolves 2, Brentford 0, Brighton 1, although that game is still in injury time. Arsenal 1, Norwich City 0. Manchester United 4, Newcastle 1, 5 minutes into injury time there. Southampton 0, West Ham United 0. 7th minute of injury time there with a West Ham player sent off. So a bitter defeat to take in, but a lot of positives to take from that match. I'm going to put the link out into the chat. Please come join us. Give us your views on the game. Hopefully we might be able to be joined by Phil and some of the other regulars from the Leicester Fan TV team as well as they leave the stadium. But yeah, just base takes, I would say, might have been our best match of the season in terms of how well we played. I think we are very unfortunate to have not taken all 3 points. But I think at the end of the day, sometimes you play your best and you still don't get the points. And that just seems to be what has happened today.
Yeah, it's just been, I think we played exceptional. Yes, Man City can have more possession. They're always going to have be on the front foot for some of the game, but we showed that we were a quality team. I'm not going to be a tie from AFTV, but I'm going to say the referee and the VAR made a lot of very, very poor decisions that didn't even get looked at. Like the stamp on Tielemans' foot for me was a red card. If Perez gets a red card for that, then I don't know what. Then if that's not a red card, I don't know what is. 3 penalty shouts. But for me, Iheanacho is one. He held his arm and his back, fell over, and he still didn't get a penalty. But the upside is, even their goal was lucky. It wasn't even a good goal. They smacked it against Michael, came back out, and they just tapped it back in. You know, for me, we deserved a point from that game. But, you know, we played poor, we win. We played good, we lose. So, hey-ho.
Yeah. It's football. And I think also some of the things that we did see that were quite positive versus some of the other matches was the fact that we saw a lot of link-up play that just went a whole lot better than what we've seen in previous matches, including the fact that Jamie Vardy did manage to get the ball in the back of the net off of a lovely through ball. It was just unfortunate that he was a hair offside. Leo, I've seen that you've joined us. Now, if you want to give me a quick thumbs up if you can hear me, I will add you into the stream. How are you doing? Can you hear us?
Yep.
Perfect. So off the bat, why don't you give us some surface level takes? No prompts. What do you take of the game?
It's not the result we wanted, but I think there's plenty of positives to take. Yeah, someone's just said that as well. But yeah, we're unlucky. You know, Vardy could well have just been onside, and then we would have scored. Yeah, that's just it's unlucky, but yeah, I think that we can definitely take some confidence away. I still think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll also agree a little bit with Rebo's statement here that we could have been Arsenal here and lost 5-0. We did very well against a team that came in with a lot of momentum and a very solid, because all things considered, for all the jokes people make about Arsenal, they do still have quality talent in their squad like we do.
Absolutely.
I don't think a 1-0 loss to a Manchester City team with that much talent and depth in its squad is anything to be disappointed by. And on top of that, we played very well to boot. We could have easily taken points from that game.
I was also very happy with Lookman. He looks like he looks talented.
Absolutely. I'm just going to make us a quick Lookman banner so that we can discuss that a little bit more in depth. If either of you happen to know, was that just a base loan deal, or is that a loan with an option to buy?
Option to buy.
Okay, because I was going to say he only played for what, maybe 15, 18 minutes in that match. But if he played that way for the whole 90, he easily could have been man of the match there. He was dominant. He was knocking Man City players off the ball. He was playing the ball through people's legs. He was making runs. His heat map is going to be wild. He was playing sometimes at left back, sometimes in center forward. He was very versatile.
Obviously not the same player as Conte, but a bit like Conte, the way he just runs around.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think if we have an option to buy there, take that option. If we can see that, if he can play that well against Manchester City, I can't wait to see him pulling that against maybe like I don't like to speak poorly about other teams, maybe like a Southampton, like someone who you could expect us to come in and get a better result against.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm seeing a few people coming in with some man of the match options. I saw someone saying Casper. I saw someone saying Yannick Vestergaard.
Casper and Vestergaard, and maybe Ndidi for me.
I think Mark Albrighton might also deserve a shout, but I think we did see some of the classic Albrighton where he started the game and then started to get a little bit sluggish, started to get a little bit off pace and off form around the 60th, 70th minute mark. Which is, again, like one of the reasons why I feel like he's more of that super sub character that you would need, not necessarily a 90-minute starter.
Yeah.
Looks like Reedy's tuning in, so hopefully we'll be getting some views from the King Power if he can get some cell service around there, which I know is a bit of a challenge out there. Hey, Reedy, can you hear us?
Hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. So, as someone from the stadium, what are some of your takeaways from the match?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear us? Reedy, unfortunately, I think your connection's a little bit too poor.
Yeah, I think it's a bit too poor.
Yeah, Reedy, I might have to take you off stream for a little bit, but we'll try adding you on in a moment. Hey Phil, can you hear us at all? Do you have connection?
Yeah, I can hear you. You all right, guys?
Yep. A bitter pill to take in terms of that loss, but I think a lot of positives to take away from that match. What are your takes?
Yeah, I agree. We've just played Man City. They're the best team in the Premier League. They're the best team in Europe, all bar Chelsea. We matched them pretty much toe-to-toe, I thought, today. They probably just about edged it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Messy face.
Yeah. Unfortunately you're breaking up a bit, so I'll chime in a little bit here that I think at the end of the day we did give away a lot of chances to them, which is one of the problems when you're facing a high pressing team that's very good at passing and holding possession as a counter-attacking side that welcomes pressure. But I don't think we can really blame tactics for something like that.
We had chances to
I think he's gone again.
Yeah, unfortunately, Phil, I'm gonna drop you for a little bit, but I know you have controls as well from your end. So if you do get your signal back, please add yourself back into the stream. Leo, I will discuss with you a little bit as well some of the quality chances that we did get here.
Yeah.
We had a couple penalty shouts. We had a goal that did end up getting ruled offside. I'm not one that likes to say that referees are biased, but there definitely were some poor decisions that I would chalk up to poor luck on our side. What's your take on that?
Yeah, well, I thought there should have it was a red card. Was it Cancelo? It should have been 2 yellows because he like stepped on Tiller and I can't remember. Anyway, there was someone I thought should have gotten the second yellow, and then I didn't think it was great. I thought as far as our chances went, I think we could have been a bit more capitalized on them, but I think I don't know.
Yeah, it's like we said, it's always one of those bitter pills to take when you feel like you play that well, and unfortunately you just can't take away the results. But
in my opinion,
go ahead.
The best chance was when Lookman, when Iheanacho and Lookman came straight on and they linked up straight away.
Do you think we might start to see? I know you mentioned at I believe at halftime, Madison's shaky form, and that you might bring on some of the new signings. We didn't end up seeing Daka or Dewsbury Hall come on, but we did see some real shining lights from Nacho and from Ademola Lookman. Do you think we might start to see some squad rotation, and we might start to see Lookman and Nacho starting? Perhaps we'll have a front two, and we might start to see Madison on the bench more often.
Well, it's Napoli. We play Napoli this week, yeah?
I think so. Let me double check.
Yeah. So there'll definitely, obviously, there'll be squad rotation in against Napoli, and then we've got Millwall in the League Cup. So, but then in the Premier League, I know that Rodgers doesn't like to do it, but I would like to see it. Obviously, if he's not going to do it in the Premier League, then he's got the Europa League and a game against Millwall to do that.
Yeah, I think we will start seeing, at the very least, they'll get probably an opening 60, if not a full 90 minutes against Napoli, because you're obviously going to get that squad rotation. I'm just double checking our calendar to see. So we have.
And there'll obviously be players like Chowdhury who obviously won't be mains in the team, or Mendy.
No, totally. They're probably going to end up in the lineup against Millwall. I imagine we're not going to be taking too much of our Premier League rotation to South London there. Just because, you know, it's a championship opposition. Again, I don't like to underestimate any opposition, but I see us playing a lot more of like your Chowdhuries and your Mendys and like the players that aren't necessarily top of mind for Brendan
I
Rodgers.
remember we lost to Millwall a few years ago, but yeah,
we'll knock on wood for that. We'll
I don't think that's anything to worry about.
But I guess finally the final things I'll ask you of is I think we touched a little bit on man of the match, but I'm just going to get like a concrete, like if you had to pick one name, who's your man of the match for this game?
Can I give the goalkeeper?
Yes, you can.
Schmeichel.
Awesome. All right, pleasure having you.
Yeah.
And please join us for future games.
See ya.
All right, I'm gonna one more time drop in the link in case any other ones of you would like to drop in and give your views. Otherwise, I think, we'll do some quick conversation around Napoli being the next game and what things we can learn from this match and what things need to change for the next match. So that game is going to be on Thursday, same time kickoff, 3 p.m. At that point, what do you think is going to change? I definitely agree with what Leo was saying that we're going to see probably Lookman in the starting rotation. Probably we might see Daka, we might see Nacho. Probably going to, at the very least, bench 2 out of the 3 of, or 2 out of the 4 at least of Madison, Albright, and Barnes, Vardy. No way all 4 of them are starting. Oh, we got Reedy back. Hopefully he's got connection. Hey there, Reedy.
Hi, Reedy.
Can you hear me?
I think.
Yes, we can.
Yes, all good.
So why don't you give us someone who was at the stadium, just your surface level observations on the match? How'd you take it?
To be honest, I didn't think we deserved to lose at all. I don't think we deserved to lose. But like I said, it's Man City. They're gonna win some way. Obviously, it was out of nothing for their goal, and for me, we've done well. See, after our goal got cancelled out, it kind of shot us down, and then their goal on top just took us even further down, and then it just got to the point where we're just not going to get back into this game. Obviously, when Lookman came on, I think, to be honest, he looks good.
I like you.
He looked good for that 10 minutes he came on for, so hopefully he starts maybe midweek, but you never know. But yeah, it was a good game. I don't think we deserve to lose, but like I said, it's Man City. They're going to win the title by not playing the best anyway. So,
what do you think of the officials?
Officials. I think the ref was pretty bad. I don't know. It's something where there was just little challenges where they shouldn't have gone in, but they shouldn't have happened. But obviously they gave it away. But I don't think we can blame the referees when, like I said, we did well in the first half. We just couldn't do anything with it in the second half. So I think yes, the officials helped, but in the end, we just didn't get the goal we wanted.
I guess a couple of the final things that we will ask you is what sort of squad changes do you think we can expect to see coming up to Napoli in the next match?
Thing is, that's the thing. So obviously, we're playing Thursday and then we're playing Sunday, so there's got to be a change either in one of the 2 games. And I'm guessing we might play our full squad out when it comes to Thursday, and then maybe change it up and go a bit of a lesser squad when it comes to Brighton, because I think it's an easier challenge. I wouldn't say it's easy enough, but it's an easy challenge. So I think we'd stick the same squad, maybe a few changes in there, maybe Lookman for Brighton, because I just don't think Brighton was at the speed of the game today, because in Man City, I don't think he had the speed for it today. And then I'd keep Vestergaard in it, because I think when Evans came on and then we conceded, it just felt a bit, I don't know, it just felt like, oh, he's come on now we conceded. So, but yeah, I'd keep Vestergaard in. I think he played well.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I guess final thing that I'll ask of you is who your man of the match was.
I think my man of the match has got to be Ndidi. I think every time we lost the ball, I think he tried his best to clean it back up, or at least get it back. So I think he's man of the match for me.
Totally fair. And I think also before we let you go is one of the things is that almost all the people that we've talked to have given different man of the matches. I think it's a testament that it was a very good team performance today. And we saw a lot better from all of the players in the squad than we've seen, especially against West Ham, but even against Norwich and Norwich and Wolves. For some reason, I forgot the name of Wolves for a minute.
Yeah, obviously it was a brilliant team performance. Obviously, you can't fault really anyone. Maybe, actually, I'm not going to say because it seems a bit unfair to say on one person, but I think everyone had a decent game, and I think it was mainly because all the injuries are back fit now. So it was more of a better team performance, and we needed to see that sort of thing before we go into these big games like Napoli.
Totally. Anything else you'd like to add?
Not really much. What was your kind of thoughts on Lookman when he came on? Because he just seemed like he got in a bit of a situation and then got out of it, and then obviously made the brilliant run. But I think he looks like now, obviously, people doubting him, and obviously I was one of the doubters thinking he might not be the person we wanted, but he looks pretty solid. So obviously we'll see more in the season. But what is your thoughts on it?
I think the fact that we ended up making this banner is a bit of a sign of how we felt about him.
But from our end, when he came on, we immediately looked like a threat. But one thing is that why didn't Brendan make this change 10 minutes before he did? Because if we would like that for another 10 minutes, I reckon we would have scored because Lookman looked awesome.
Thing is, the moment he had that first chance after obviously he actually got the ball turned to him and whatnot, I actually thought he's actually going to do this for us and actually draw us the game, but then obviously missed it. But he still had a few other chances after that within like 15 minutes of only being on the pitch. So he obviously wants to do well. And he can move well. So like I say, he is someone that hopefully is going to be good for us. And it's just, I just hope we see him more starting than Albrighton, because I just don't think, don't get me wrong, I love Albrighton, but I just don't think he's got the speed in the game for a whole 90 minutes, where when he comes on at like 60th minute, he's got the power for us that we need, whereas Lookman can use it. He's younger and he's more speed. So, yeah.
Fair. Yeah, I think one of the things that we saw from him was sort of a press through other defenders that we don't see that often from a lot of the players for Leicester City up front. A lot of the time we typically see that Leicester's strength is in that sort of quick run. You're nowhere near a defender to begin with, but Lookman was taking 1-2 players on at a time and leaving with the ball, which is something that I think will add just a really nice tool to Brendan Rodgers' arsenal when it comes to if we ever need to be nimble and change tactic at halftime. He's definitely the kind of player that you can either bring on and switch to more of a charge through the middle mentality that might also be helpful to get Maddison involved more often, or the kind of player you can bring off and switch back to that traditional long pass through ball runs.
Yeah, I'd say hopefully we get to see him more. But like I say, thinking about it, the only problem is he actually came on when Harvey Barnes came off. So is he going to suit the right wing more than left wing? So he was put in left wing today, but will he suit more of a right side than a left side? That's the only issue for me now. Because obviously, if Barnes is fit and you want Lookman to start, he has to be put on the right hand side. So hopefully he fits that side as well.
Perfect way to segue into this. I really hope that he lines up well on the right wing, because I think he would be that perfect foil for a character like Albrighton, who I consider very core and essential to the team, but not the kind of player who should be playing all 90 minutes of a match. He should either be brought on or brought off at some point. So it's a perfect rotation of, you can switch those two players at the 50-minute mark, 60-minute mark, and completely bring a new mentality and lineup to the match.
Yeah, I think that's what Lookman did today brilliantly. Obviously, like I say, when Albrighton, thing is for me, like I say, Albrighton just wasn't there completely every time we had the ball to him. So I think obviously, like I said, bringing Lookman on for him or swapping him around every time in the match is a good idea. So
awesome. All right, well, I think we'll let you go, Reedy, but thanks so much for joining us. We'll probably give Phil maybe another like 10, 15 minutes to see if he might be able to find some service and join in.
Yeah, no worries. Cheers, mate.
Take care. All right, so yeah, definitely keep getting your views and comments in, because we'd love to have a couple more topics to discuss with all of you towards the end of the match. Some of the comments that we're seeing come in, especially like if you'd like to talk about some of the other matches Ronaldo got a brace against Newcastle United, so he did end up having that nice homecoming, despite nearly going into the halftime at 0-0 and having Newcastle equalize 1-1. Result did end fairly well for Manchester United there. Sean Winters, yes, it was a good performance all around from Leicester City. And again, it's one of those things where normally after a loss, we'd be deconstructing things and talking about where the team went wrong. But there's not that many points of analysis to take because it was a solid performance. We just, unfortunately, were playing against one of the best teams in the league, and we didn't get lucky.
No, I think today, I don't think we're very unlucky in some decisions, and we played really well. It's just, when it comes to football nowadays, I think the money that they have is just evident. Like they could bring on players, the sort of players, off the bench, and it's just impossible to play against. But I think we played very well, and I think we played better this game than we have all season, and that's saying something. But Lookman for me needs to start against Napoli because he was phenomenal. Phil's joined.
Hey Phil, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, Elijah. Today, I don't know what's been going on at the ground, but it's been a nightmare trying to click in and get signal. Sorry about that.
No worries. Your video's a little choppy, but we're getting your audio at least. We'd love to get your thoughts, especially as someone who was at the match, on just how things went and what your takeaways were.
I thought it's probably our best performance of the season. I don't know how it came across on TV, but it felt like that was better playing against a much better side than Norwich or Wolves or even West Ham. Man City were a really, really good side today. So I thought we matched them most of the way, and we definitely could have pinched a draw today.
Obviously you can't have the vision that we have. We get close-ups of certain stuff. Did you see the tackle on Tielemans' ankle?
No. When was that?
That would have been around like the 35-minute mark.
Tielemans went down in our half, and someone went to Tielemans' ankle, studs first. So very similar to the tackle that Perez got sent off for. So
really,
it pretty much matched it. Pretty much.
Well, it was the usual in the ground. The VAR, we don't know if the VAR checked anything there because it didn't tell you one thing on the screen, so we didn't know what was going on. We've got back to the car and we were questioning Vestergaard in the first half. Seemed to get pulled down in their penalty area when he was going for a header by two of their players and right in front of us, and we're like, no idea why that wasn't a penalty. I don't know if they debated that or VAR'd it.
Yeah, I think there was that. There was Nacho who got tripped in the second half in the penalty area. Although, admittedly, that was a very like Arjen Robben versus Mexico moment, like where that could have just been a brush on the toe, but I still think there was contact. But one of the things that we were even discussing was that I know they don't tell you in the stadium anymore, but normally, at least on the broadcast, you get a little graphic that says VAR check. Nothing was reviewed by VAR according to that. Not a single check.
All game. No view. All game.
No, and I take it, I mean, again, you guys watching on the TV, Vardy's goal offside, it's very hard. We're right the other end and flat onto it. So I assume, did you feel he was offside?
He was offside.
Yeah.
It was just offside, but I think his foot was offside. But for me, I think decisions, I think referee was, if you have a chance to go through the game and watch it, maybe, but I think some decisions that they made were very poor. Doesn't take away from the Man City win, but I feel we should have at least got one penalty. And I think the tackle that was on Tielemans' ankle was a certain red based on what Perez got sent off for.
Yeah, I think the tackle on Tielemans, I do remember in the first half, we were watching, the ref had a word with their player afterwards on that one, and this wouldn't have come across on TV. He was saying to him, "What, I'll let you off there, one more, and you're going to go or something." But it did feel. And listen, I think in the end, Man City had slightly more chances than us and could have scored another goal. We certainly could have scored one. It could have been a draw. I thought the performance was at least there today. But again, I don't know what you guys thought. We maybe the tackle on Tielemans put him off, but we felt he didn't have his best game by far today, Tielemans.
I think Tielemans and Maddison were, for me, weren't at their best. I think Schmeichel, all the defenders were phenomenal. Indeed, he was brilliant. Lookman came on and spiced the game up. Vardy had a decent game, didn't play bad, didn't play amazing, sort of average game. Or Brighton, a few excellent passes. I don't know if you saw it, Phil, but when he went past two, before the end of the first half, he went past two defenders, went round them, and then got a corner from that. Was brilliant. So
yeah, I thought Albrighton definitely looked like he tired though with 15 or 20 minutes to go. Yeah. But he did have again another solid game. I know Jono mentioned about Lookman. We all felt Lookman had a good little 15, 20 minutes there. And Nacho, people coming out the ground saying, why does Nacho not get more game time? We look more. Nacho sits a bit deeper but seems to hold the ball up and bring other players in, Elijah. He seemed to have more effect on the game than Maddison again.
Yeah, I tried to sort of make excuses for Maddison a little bit by saying that it might be because a lot more of our play was based on the wings, which just didn't get Maddison involved. But I think some of what we saw after the substitutions was the fact that those other players, like your Lookmans and your Nachos, they make themselves get involved. They bring the play to them instead of waiting for the play to come to them. And that might be what we just haven't been seeing from James Maddison. And I think it could well be time to start rotating.
I think, Phil, we cut out a bit there, mate.
Unfortunately, Phil, I think your connection's gotten spotty again.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if Jono knows the stats. Jono, do you know what we paid for Daka and Sumare individually and then together, the combined price?
No, I don't.
I will look that up right now.
Was it about 40 million?
I don't know if I've lost you, lads.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you, but your video
I'll
is
leave you,
frozen.
lads. I'll see you in a bit.
All right,
Okay.
Phil, see you in a bit.
Take care, Phil. And then, Jono, I know you said you needed to get going soon. I can hold down for like a final 5-10 minutes if you got to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shoot off here. But great stream, but unfortunately about the result. But a lot of positive to take from that. But we move on.
100%. We move on. All right, Jono. Thanks for all your help. You take care. All right. So you're just left with me for the last 5 minutes. Please get your last minute views in. One thing that I will also say, just as we do get to just me on the screen, I'll try to have the kits for both teams on, but do know that there's only ever one crest that I'll wear on the stream itself. But yeah, I would love to see all of you get your man of the match options in, just for us to close out. If you have any ideas on squad changes that need to happen before Napoli, please get your views and comments in. And then also, finally, one final thing to mention is that if you've enjoyed the stream, please do us a big favor and give us a like or a share or a subscribe, as what that helps us do is it really helps us share our content with more Leicester City supporters around the world. You know what? This is actually a pretty nice way to end the stream off, as well as how I became a Leicester City supporter. To be perfectly honest, I followed a bunch of English teams when I first got into football, which was around 2007. And I read an article about Leicester City's relegation into League One at the end of the 07-08 season. And I just started following them very, very mildly. I had like a basket of teams that I followed that much. And just as they came back up through the Championship into the Premier League, they started being more accessible to Canadian media. I was able to watch their games, read more about them in the newspapers, and they just seemed like a really great club that is still focused on their community. And beyond that, I also just like Foxes. So please definitely get your man of the match in. So we got an Ndidi shout out from Santosh Kumar, as well as some squad rotation ideas of Lookman and Kieran Dewsbury Hall for Barnes, Yuri, and Matters. Oh, and Sumare in as well. That's definitely a fair shout. I definitely think we're going to be seeing more of Lookman in the future, a very positive showing from him. I think we are going to start to wrap up now. So also just want to give a big thanks to all of our partners that help us keep the show running. A big thanks to all of you for tuning in. And definitely hope you'll all be able to join us in the future for more watch-alongs in the future, as well as all of the other shows we have. We have daily shows that are live with all of the fine folks here at Leicester Fan TV. So please make sure to check out the videos when you get the chance. And if you ever get the chance to join us live, please do so. You might get the chance to join us on screen. So with that, I'm going to close off our watch-along. But thanks so much for joining us. A disappointing loss to take in the end, but a lot of positives to take forward. And we move on towards Thursday against Napoli. And as always, come on, you Foxes.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.